And the pink armbands, as Major League Baseball raising money as well as awareness for breast cancer research. And there's a strike as Jeter takes, and we are underway.
And that's pretty much what you're going to see. A lot of pitches, 86 to 88. He hit 89 on a couple of times his last start down in Tampa Bay. Jeter 1 for 8, slapped a single to right field to start last night's game.
High fly ball to right, playable for Markakis. And he puts it away and one down in the Yankee first. So a 2-pitch at bat, and Jeter retired.
Well, there are the grips, and he a lot of movement on his pitches. The four-seam fastball, the splitter, which he used so successfully down in Tampa Bay. There's the curveball. Doesn't throw it very often. See, just getting the middle finger, the cutter, a little off center, kind of throw it like a football. And then the changeup, a pitch he learned in a couple of days down in spring training, augmented. There's a split-fingered fastball. And Rick Tranitz, the pitching coach, says that some of the problems, and it's not that he's pitched poorly, but a lot of close games, third time through the order, both the Angels and Tampa Bay made some adjustments. He's going to have to adjust. Maybe a few more fastballs late in the ballgame.
On that breaking ball, why was the index finger not touching the baseball?
Well, because again, I think the cutter is that what you're feeling is that pressure on that middle finger, because it's kind of, the index finger is kind of like a guide finger. It's on there, but it's really not on there.
So he just eliminates it by not touching it.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Nub foul. Johnny Damon has a 6-game hitting streak going, and he is off to a very good start for the Yankees this year, now at 35 years old.
Well, he's probably their hottest hitter. And not only most home runs he's ever hit for the Yankees is 24, so already 8 of those. Last year hit 17. You know, a typical year for him is somewhere right around 17, 18, 20 home runs.
Just inside as Damon looks it over, 1-2.
Yeah, Mark Carlson, the home plate umpire, he's going to dictate for both Chamberlain, Joba Chamberlain pitching for the Yankees, and for Koji, how much you can pitch on the corners or off the corner.
1-2 is just nub foul as Damon protected the outer part of the plate. Well, O'Hara, these are numbers that you certainly like, averaging 6.5 strikeouts per game, walking 1.7.
And what I like about it is there's a lot of guys that don't walk a lot of people, but they're wild within the strike zone. Down in Tampa Bay, he only walked, one, and he wasn't wild in the strike zone. Made some great pitches and did it for 7 innings.
Another 1-2 to Damon. He got him. That looked like the splitter, Jim, broke down and away from the swing, and 2 men down.
Well, I'll take a look right here, and what you see, the split-fingered fastball, it acts like a fastball because it appears out of your hand as you look at the Exmo. And again, you know, he has such a disciplined windup, and you can see the tumbling effect in the good splitter, while we can see it on a camera like the Exmo that really slows it down. The hitter can't. And that tumbling action, it's actually thrown, and it, you know, almost every other pitch you pull down or you cut across, this one actually comes out of your hand with a lot of topspin and goes straight down.
Teixeira fouls it back. 1-1 the count on Teixeira. He was off to a slow start with a batting average. He is at 196. However, he does have 6 home runs, and 10 of his 20 hits are extra base hits.
Yeah, 3 home runs already in May. Home runs aren't going to be a problem.
High fly ball, right center field. Jones back on it. Way out there, and there it goes. There's a home run for Teixeira. And the Yankees grab a 1-0 first inning lead.
You know, everybody, a lot of the people around the media saying, well, he had a home run last night. Back-to-back home runs by Damon and Teixeira when the Orioles had a huge lead. They said, well, that's really not going to get your attention, the Yankee fans, but there are home runs, and you can see him get the front foot down. He's always been an uppercutter. Of course, that's how you average over 30 home runs and 100 RBIs. You get the ball in the air. Played in Texas. That's where he originally signed. Great park to hit, and so as is Camden Yards. So the fly ball here, when you get it up in the zone, and the wind is gusting today, going to go a long way.
For Mark Teixeira, that is number 7 as Alex Rodriguez takes ball 1. Rodriguez activated from the disabled list for this series, so playing his 3rd game. He had the hip surgery early on in spring training, which prevented him from playing in the World Baseball Classic.
And it's his right hip, the back hip, the one he pushes off of. And the home run he hit on Friday night, first pitch at about 98 miles per hour off Jeremy Guthrie, was a pitch that he felt that probably wouldn't have gotten to last year. That right hip, it's so important. It allows you to hit through the ball, but also turn on the ball, which is what he did on Friday night.
Fastball inside, 2-1 on Alex Rodriguez. Uehara has now allowed 6 home runs in this is 7th start. And the Yankees, without a doubt, built to live and die by the home run. Only Texas in the American League has hit more. The Yankees now have 46 home runs on the year. And despite how the baseball has been flying at the new Yankee Stadium, 23 home runs at home, 23 home runs on the road.
Well, they could hit anywhere. The problem is their pitching staff. And I think most people thought they were going to have excellent starters. Wong, who pitched against the Orioles, actually started the game that Koji started in that game too and got knocked out early. He's been disappointing. Bullpen's been disappointing. There's a pitch that I don't really know how that ball's not called a strike, even though the target's going to be outside. But Greg Zahn just reaches across the plate. Now he shifts outside, and then right here, I mean, that's a strike. Very simple. You just put the right hand up, you let A-Rod get his glove, and you grab your bats and start hitting.
3-2 pitch is pulled into left field. There's a base hit. PA over to cut it off. Alex Rodriguez will settle for a single, so he is on with 2 men down, a home run and a single after 2 men out in the inning. Let's get a look at the defensive alignment today behind Koji Uehara.
Well, Felix PA and left, Jones, Markakis, really mobile outfield for the Orioles. Moore and Dino as Historis gets the afternoon off, at least initially. Roberts and Huff around the infield. Greg Zahn at 38, 3 hits last night. He is red hot with the bat in the month of May, so he catches the day game at age 38 after a night game, and you know what? He doesn't even care. That's how hot he is.
Day off tomorrow. He's fine. So Uehara will go to the stretch for Hideki Matsui, former teammates in Japan.
What, for about 3 years, I believe.
Good hack, and he fouls it back.
Of course, Matsui was a lot healthier. He had knee surgery, that front knee, and then if you look at Koji, they played together, what, 1999 to 2002, so he won a couple of Japanese versions of the Cy Young Award, Gold Glover, All-Star almost every year, as was Matsui.
0-1 is outside. Hideki Matsui is in his 7th season now with the Yankees. In 4 of the 6 seasons, all of the years in which he has been healthy, he has driven in at least 100 runs.
Well, he can hit with runners in scoring position. You pitch him away, he takes the ball that way. Good breaking ball hitter. Mark Carlson calls that strike on the swing. He can just hit because he's a lot like Nick Markakis, but obviously a lot older. And that's what he called it on. That bat apparently going far enough.
A 1-2 on Matsui, who is DHing. Outside 2-2.
See, I look at Koji Uehara and I look at not overpowering, moves the ball around, wants to throw enough strikes to get you to swing at balls out of the strike zone. And the umpire sometimes has a lot to do with that. The A-Rod 3-2 pitch, he had already struck him out, didn't get the call, had to come in 3-2.
2-2, a little low, I guess. Ball 3, so the count goes full on back-to-back hitters.
So Huff will move behind Alex Rodriguez at first to take away the hole. Alex with a hip, even though he's certainly capable in years past of stealing bases and doing it at a high percentage rate. He'll be off and running. Makes a difference.
A full count on Matsui. A-Rod goes, the pitch high, pop up center field. Adam Jones moves over. He has it for the out, and the inning ends. Yankees get on the board on the Teixeira home run, a man left. Yankees won, and here come the O's. Bottom of the first, Southwest Airlines starting lineups for the Orioles, coming in with a record of 13 and 18. Roberts, Jones, and Markakis, with Aubrey Hupp in the cleanup spot, Melvin Mora and Luke Scott. Greg Zahn on a tear, 11 out of his last 23, a .478 clip over the past 7 games. All of that since May the 1st. PA gets a start in left, and Robert Andino at shortstop.
Take a look at our PNC scouting report for Jabba Chamberlain out of Nebraska. Well, power stuff. He's got as good a slider as there is. The guy that's going to pitch on Tuesday night, Burnett, has the curveball to match. But for both of these guys, power arms. He's in sync. Now, in sync because he was a reliever. He's learning how to start. This will be his 18th major league start. And how about that number? 3 earned runs or less in 14 of his first 17 major league starts. It seems pretty simple. Hang around for a while, let your team score you some runs, and just let your natural ability take care of things. But the problem is the last game he got roughed early on because it looked like a lot of guys said he didn't look like he warmed up. So I don't think that'll be the case today. He probably threw a couple of extra pitches, and look at the miles per hour. Normally he's in the middle 90s, and that's the way he was in his last start, and it didn't work out.
Roberts takes low ball 2. In his last start, he allowed the first 4 batters of the game to score and the first 5 to reach. After that, he really settled in as Brian Roberts trying to break out of a 2 for 14.
And that was against the Red Sox, and we've seen how good a hitter Jason Bay. Jason Bay came over when Manny Ramirez was shipped off to the Dodgers last year. Terrific trade for the Red Sox.
High ball 3. Now, there was some question if Jabba was going to be able to make this start today. Yesterday during BP, he had a problem with his thumb with a blood vessel.
Well, apparently he flipped a ball in underhand and did something where he popped a blood vessel in his thumb. And right there, that ball off the outside corner. So Mark Carlson having a horrible first inning here. Missed a pitch to A-Rod. Right there, that's ball 4. You allow the guy to go.
Here's the 3-1 pitch, and Brian base hit left field. There he goes the opposite way with it. And the Orioles coming right back on the Yankees with their leadoff man on. And Brian trying to heat up, and Adam Jones, you're talking about a guy who is right now tearing the baseball, Jim. Last night, absolutely fabulous game, including his 6th home run.
Well, a couple of doubles, and then he hit the back wall of the Orioles bullpen with about as hard a line drive as you'll ever see. And he said, you know, I got to see that Exmo camera. He said, I really like that. I said, well, I tell you, it showed you how good a swing you had. The first time up, he hit a rolling curveball off of Phillip Hughes. The next time, Hughes threw about a 94 mile per hour fastball up and in, and he got the bat head to the ball. So his swing has improved. He's stronger, he's smarter, more experienced, because this is his 2nd year in the big leagues.
Brian Roberts chased back to first base. Brian, 4 steals on the year. However, he has only 1 stolen base over the past 24 games.
Yeah, and that steal was the first game down in Tampa Bay. Double steal. Orioles would go on to win that ball game. So it was, but he's been fighting some back soreness, and that's been at least 3 to 4 weeks. And I think another part of the factor is you hate to take the bat out of Adam Jones's hand. I mean, it seems to me that for a young hitter, and that's what Adam is at age 23, only his 2nd full year in the major leagues, he's handled hitting second with a guy that can run, because you have to take some pitches.
2-0 as the breaking ball misses inside.
Well, after the base hit to Brian Roberts on a 3-1 fastball, I was kind of looking at Jabba, and he was kind of putting his fingers together. So he, at least to me, feels like he looks like the type of guy that's going to take the ball maybe when he shouldn't be out there. Yankees need starting pitching. They need just better pitching in general, both from their bullpen and their starters.
You know, it's kind of amazing when you look at the league rankings, and the Yankees and the Red Sox certainly regarded as contenders in the AL East along with Tampa Bay. The Yankees starting pitchers have an ERA of 5.68. Only Boston, their starters, have a higher ERA in the American League. And there's a base hit to left field. Alex Rodriguez was off the line. Roberts thinks about going. Now he stops. And the Orioles have 2 on with none down. So Chamberlain fell behind each hitter. Each hitter got a pitch to hit, and each hitter gets a base hit.
And see, now Joe Girardi is going to come out right now, the manager, not the pitching coach, because he wants to find out. The radar gun doesn't tell you the whole story, but I think it tells you the story when you have a guy that may be injured. Are you going to do the right thing, or are you going to do what you think is best for the ball club? So again, you looked at his thumb. So right here, he's sitting away. Cervelli goes to the outside corner. He misses his target by at least the width of a plate. And again, if you're going to throw about 89 miles per hour, this guy has such a good arm, Jim. Everybody's looking, even though the slider's good and he's got a curveball and a changeup, you're hitting off the fastball. So 89 instead of 95 is a big difference.
Nick Markakis coming up now, and Nick, a big game yesterday. He has had an outstanding homestand, and Jim, the power numbers are starting to surface. Over the past 9 games, Markakis has hit 4 home runs.
And he's done it on a variety of pitches. You know, they tried to throw him a slider the other night. He hit the foul pole. They try to come in with a fastball. He reacts it. Jim, he's just one of the best young hitters in baseball. There's no doubt about it. He can cover the whole corner of the plate. He can hit the outside pitch the other way. He can. That's a very disciplined approach at the plate. Great keen eye.
Borderline pitch called the strike.
And it's all right to call balls on the corner. Just do it for both teams.
Well, the runners take their leads. Roberts at second, Jones at first, not being held. 1-1 the count. And that one's too tight.
Yeah, a little changeup, and it may be an effective pitch, but if you get that ball in the middle of the plate, Nick Markakis is going to have another home run. But just think about it. He got married in the offseason. First child, his son. So his wife's a mom. Very relaxed. You know, 6-year deal for a bunch of money.
Right field. Swisher has it for the out. Runners hold, 1 down.
Ball hit right on the nose, and let's take a look. Damon, Cabrera, and Swisher around the outfield for the Yankees. A-Rod at third, Jeter, Cano, Teixeira, Gold Glover, and Francisco Cervelli. And Brian Roberts didn't get a good read. A lot of times you will go halfway with nobody out, but that's a ball he easily could have tagged up on, and Huff would be hitting with runners at first and second, or first and third.
Well, 1 down, 2 on for Huff, and that one misses outside. Aubrey Huff has had a pretty interesting start, Jim. He really hasn't had a hot streak yet. He's had a lot of one-hit games, but yet he has 32 hits, and he is tied for 6th in the league in RBIs with 28. So he's been very productive with his hits.
Well, a lot of opportunities, and when you're hitting 406, I mean, that's the last guy to hit 406 for a batting average was Ted Williams, but that's what he's hitting with runners in scoring position. But they have definitely, after you lead the American League in extra base hits, as he did last year, they have changed the pattern of pitching. A lot of breaking stuff, a lot of curveballs, changeups, because he's such a good fastball hitter.
High fly ball, deep right center field. Back it goes. It is gone. Huff does it again, and the Yankees fall behind 3-1 after Teixeira gave them a lead. Huff comes right back. And Aubrey Huff, you see that pump fist. Jabba Chamberlain does that when he strikes batters out, and Aubrey Huff just did it back to him.
Well, he did it when he came around first base. Watch this hanger. Just like he hit last night. 3-run home run last night. Another one today. Ball flying here at Camden Yards. So right here, there we go. Right.
Well, if you're going to do that to your opponent, expect to get it back. And Chamberlain does show up his opponents. There's no doubt about it.
Well, you know,
when he strikes hitters out.
And I'm sure that Jabba would say, I'm not showing him up. It's just, hey, that's who I am. And you know what? A lot of guys don't like that.
Melvin Moore on the bunt. It's a beauty, and he's going to get a base hit. Head first slide, didn't need to. And 4 hits in the first 5 batters against Jabba Chamberlain. Let's head down. So Chamberlain, a single, a hard line out, a home run, and a bunt single. Now let's head downstairs and say hi to Mark Viviano.
Hi, you doing, Jim? Yeah, the story on the fist pump was something that was discussed in the Oriole clubhouse prior to the game. A lot of Oriole players are aware of the histrionics of Chamberlain when he strikes a batter out. Now, some of them said, if you do that on a fastball and blow me away, go ahead and celebrate. But he was known to do that in the last game against Boston on a slider. That rubs hitters the wrong way. Yes, there's etiquette to this, and Aubrey Huff had a little payback for him. Back to you guys in the booth.
Well, you know, a good friend of mine, another Hall of Famer, Dennis Eckersley, we always kid him, you know, he used to point at guys. And you got to understand in this game, the Orioles, I mean, you love this intensity because this is a chance to win your 6th series of the year. It's something that it always seems they are unable to do in years past. So to have a meeting, to get yourself prepared, you know who's pitching. You know that when Jobber Chamberlain's on his game, he's going to bring his A game out there because he's got, as I mentioned, power stuff. But again, Eckersley used to point at people, and he was a terrific young pitcher, would end up going to the Hall of Fame as a reliever and a starter. You got to understand, guys want to beat you anyway, but when you do the fist pump or you do the finger point or you do all the histrionic, it makes them want you to beat you a little bit more. And it's good to see that, number one, he's not backing it up because he hung a curveball, but the Orioles are ready for it.
0-2 is outside. Breaking is Melvin Moore. Now he's going back towards first, and he is in a rundown. Melvin trying to stay in the rundown as long as he can. Cervelli, the catcher, now is involved. And the throw back. And being tagged out is Melvin Moore by Teixeira eventually. So that will be a caught stealing because he broke. And then he stopped.
Well, you remember in the backyard when you were a kid? On Mother's Day, your mom would say, hey, come on, we got to go out and have dinner. Well, you'd be playing pickle in the backyard. That's exactly what happened. You get in a rundown and try to get out of it. Now, ideally, and Cervelli plays this game right, get it to Teixeira. You're only supposed to have 2 throws. High throw, there's another one. You've already exceeded the limit. 3rd, 4th. So 4th.
That went 2-3, 6-2, 4-3.
Yeah, you're really supposed to run the guy down. Mark Belanger used to do it so well with Davey Johnson and then Bobby Grich. Earl Weaver used to say maximum of 2 throws. They get 4, but they get the out.
And that helps out Chamberlain. That erases the base runner. Now 2 men down, and it's 0-2 on Luke Scott. Grounded, there's a base hit in the right field. So another base hit. That is 5 hits in the inning.
Well, the difference between coming in to save and set up to get to your closer and pitching the 8th inning and starting is totally different. So he's given up a 3-run home run. Actually, for the 2nd straight start on a curveball. Right there is a changeup. Now, he probably wouldn't be using his pitches a whole lot if he was pitching the 8th inning because he'd come in, throw 95, 96 like he used to, maybe 98. No, he had to get 3 outs. A lot different when you start. Yeah, Orioles are making him pay for it.
Already the 7th hitter this inning. Here's Greg Zahn. And he takes low 1-0. You saw Zahn has hit in each of his last 2 games and has 6 hits in the 7 at-bats in those 2 games.
Well, he now has, what, 4 multi-hit games in his last 7 games?
They're all in the month of May.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's hitting almost 500 for the month of May.
Well behind the runner's high, and Scott gets back in. Francisco Cervelli, just 23 years old, catching. Both of the Yankees' top 2 catchers are on the disabled list, Posada and Molina.
And Posada was 5 for 8 with 2 home runs in May when he went down with a hamstring pull. Well, he's their best defensive catcher. Because last year played, 73 at-bats at Double-A Trenton. So not a lot of experience in high levels.
Zahn pops it up back of the plate, and that'll be in the crowd. Cervelli out of Venezuela. Melvin Moore certainly knew all about him because Cervelli played winter ball down there. Melvin goes back and forth several times during the offseason. Mother's Day crowd at Camden Yards. As the Orioles try to get this rubber game, make it back-to-back wins and go 4-1 on the homestand.
Yeah, the Orioles 3-9 on the road, but 10-9, so a winning record at home.
1-2 on Zahn. It's down and in on the slider, appealed to 3rd, and no swings as Jeff Nelson at 3rd base. So the Orioles jumping on Chamberlain here for 3 runs in the first inning. You can see how productive the first innings have been in the games this year. This is the Orioles' 32nd game of the season.
It also tells you how tough it is when you get to the back end of most bullpens to score runs. It's not like the Orioles all of a sudden stop being able to hit in the late innings. It's just the pitching usually gets better because the good teams, and they've played a lot of them, that's when you can match up, and that's when your best pitchers are out there.
The 2-2 on Zahn with Scott at first and 2 down, 3 runs in on the Aubrey Huff home run. For Huff, his 6th, so he joins Jones and Markakis, each sharing the team lead. Luke Scott has 5. And down on strikes goes Greg Zahn on a breaking ball, and the inning ends. But the Orioles break right back. It's Aubrey Huff. He goes deep. His 6th home run. It's a 3-run shot, and the Orioles now have a 3-1 lead. Can have a chance to win as well. Enter by logging on to MassonSports.com. Well, the Orioles, after Teixeira gave the Yankees a 1-0 lead with a solo home run, come right back on Jabba Chamberlain and a 3-run home run by Aubrey Huff. Yoji Uehara looking to even his record at 3-3 now. Going to work in the 2nd inning with a lead. Swisher, Cano, Cabrera for New York.
Yeah, he hit his 8th home run last night. In fact, he hadn't hit any at Yankee Stadium. He hadn't taken advantage of that short porch. Or I don't know if it's short. It's just that the ball seems to jet out to right center field. Same dimensions as the old park.
Rolls foul. It's 0-2.
Yeah, Danny Baez talking about last night. He said, I didn't want to walk him. I didn't want him to hit a home run either, but he did. And of course, Baez has been on a terrific roll.
There's Danny in the Oriole bullpen. Oriole bullpen has pitched pretty well. In fact, the team pitching on this homestand is really beginning to turn around, and probably not a surprise that the Orioles are 3-1 in the first 4 games on this homestand. The only game they didn't win was the CC Sabathia shutout, and it's difficult to win when your opponent has that kind of stuff.
Well, the starters are going a little bit deeper in the game, and we had the rain delay in the Minnesota game. Mark Hendricks had pitched well early on, but didn't get the decision because of the rain delay. They had 4 of them in that game. But again, when your starter goes deeper in the game, the bullpen gets rest. You can sequence your way through the back end of your bullpen. If you talk to some of the guys, Chris Ray's still working. You know, it's a great story to have him back, but he's still working through the mechanical things to get on top of his pitches. Jimmy Johnson's been good. Bass has been good. Baez lights out. George Sherrill's made some mechanical changes.
Jamie Walker's been very good.
Yeah, and you know, he's been able, Dave Tremblay, the Orioles manager, to be able to use him because the other guys are doing their job. But a lead for Koji. You know, they had him in his first start in the major leagues. That was against the Yankees. They got him a 7-1 lead, but he only went 5 innings. But he had trouble with the ball. Very slick night, cool night back in April, on the 8th of April.
And he came back to get him. So Koji Uehara picks up his second strikeout. Swisher goes down, and one away in the Yankees' second.
Well, he really sells his splitter with his speedy arm. And, you know, again, you can't differentiate the fastball and the splitter. The splitter just dives. Watch it just tumble down. And again, right here, you can see it slip between the fingers. Turns it over a little bit.
It's an amazing shot, isn't it, that Exmo? You see the fingers on the baseball and the ball kind of tumble out.
Well, think about it. And what the Expo shows you is what the hitter is trying to look at is that release point, that little window, or maybe it's a box, or that little window up there where the hitter looks. You know, whether it's Tony Gwynn, who won 8 batting titles, said, I don't look for the break of the ball because I don't usually see it, but I look for the speed of the ball. So they're concentrating, and you get the really an up close and personal release point of what a pitcher's doing.
Uehara gets ahead of Cano 0-2.
And that's really the way you want to pitch Robinson, because he's such a free swinger. He will chase. He's been in one of those mini slumps. 3 hits in his last 29 at bats. And he still comes in hitting, what, 315. It tells you how hot he was early on.
Now, that pitch there, to me, tells you that Uehara has an idea. He's 0-2. First time in the at-bat, he goes inside, tries to get it at the knees. He missed. Maybe the hitter chases, maybe he doesn't. But he's using the quadrants. There's a base hit in the right field. Pulled over the head of Aubrey Huff. And Cano's going to head to second base as MARKAKIS plays it back in. There's a 1-out double for Cano. So a runner at second base and 1 down. Don't forget T-Shirt Tuesday. It returns to Oriole Park this week. First 10,000 fans 15 and over coming Tuesday night. Will the Orioles entertain the Tampa Bay Rays? Then we'll get an Aubrey Huff Orioles T-shirt. Plus it is Ollie's Bargain Night presented by Ollie's Bargain Outlet. So all upper reserve seats just $8. Get your tickets in advance. Call 888-848-BIRD. Or if you prefer, just go online at Orioles.com. And you can add the Aubrey Huff T-shirt to your collection.
Yeah, that double coming on a hanging changeup. Number 8 for Robinson Cano.
Melky Cabrera now swings through it 0-1. Cabrera, when the season began, was not the starting center fielder. Brent Gardner had won that job in the spring. But now Melky Cabrera has his job back.
He rarely had it. He almost hit 350 in the spring training. So it wasn't like he lost the job. He just gave it to Brent Gardner. And of course, if you're going to be the kind of player that Brent Gardner, and he's had pretty good years in minor leagues, you got to be a lot like Brett Butler. You have to be able to bunt real well and whatever. But again, the evolution. You know, Cabrera a couple of years ago had an outstanding year. Going to get another opportunity.
Strike at the knees, 1-2. Well, it's a good point, because if your game is based on speed, you better be able to get on base to take advantage of the speed.
I mean, Joe Girardi basically said opening day, I think Brett Gardner's going to infuse, you know, some excitement, ability to take the extra base, steal bases for us. And then, of course, he didn't get on, and that doesn't happen. And the one thing about Melky Cabrera is that when he came up a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, he got a big hit against Billy Wagner in they call it the Subway Series, I guess, the Mets and the Yankees. And you know, he's a switch hitter, so he's hitting right-handed. He had a great at bat, hit a single up the middle, and all of a sudden he understood he could play in the big leagues. He is wearing Bobby Abreu, who now plays with the Angels, number, because Abreu was his mentor of both Cano and Cabrera.
1-2 pitch hit towards shortstop. Andino back of the bag, gets Cano back to second base, and then fires to first, and 2 down. That was very well played by Robert Andino, in particular because Cano was between the ball and Andino.
Yeah, the ball really is right at him, so he's not going to go to third base. And then watch this. Watch the timing. I always talk about infielders having fast feet. It allows you to take these crow hops. You know, you got plenty of time, make an accurate throw. You got a 3-1 lead. There's out number 2.
Robert Andino has done a very good job for the Orioles. He doesn't get a lot of playing time, but yet he is always ready. A 2-down runner at second. There's a big swing and a miss by Francisco Cervelli.
And that is so important for a young player that, you know, used to playing in the minor leagues where you play every day, that you're going to be a utility guy. And because of the Hayden Penn trade at the end of the thing, the Orioles get him from the Marlins. Penn is in the big leagues pitching out of the Marlins bullpen. You've got to really change your whole routine. And that's when the coaches come. And you're veteran guys. You talk to some of the older guys and you say, hey, you know, I know you came up. What did you do when you weren't playing every day?
Hard trying to get out of the jam, prevent Cano from scoring. 1-1. Good pitch, swing and a miss. 1-2 on Cervelli.
I'll tell you what, his best pitch is a split-fingered fastball. You have to remember, against Tampa Bay, this is the way he pitched early on. But he only had, 3 runs going into the 7th inning, and then he eventually made some adjustments. Got a little bit lucky. The Orioles didn't play very well defensively.
A little tight. 2-2 the count.
Well, this is a big out right here because you have a young hitter hitting 190 that got called up from Double-A Trenton. With Derek Jeter on deck, you need to get him out. Get out of the inning, allow your guys to come up. Chamberlain's really struggled in the first inning with his stuff and command.
2-2 high pop up left field. PA towards the line. Looking up into the sunshine, and he has it for the out. 1-out double. And a man left as Uehara comes back middle of the second. 3-1 O's. PNC leading the way. The ushers and the ticket takers greeting fans as they enter Oriole Park today. Another nice crowd on hand on this beautiful Mother's Day 2009. Home runs in the first inning. Teixeira in the top of the first for the New York run. And then Aubrey Hupp with a 3-run home run in the bottom of the first. And how about that? Out with Mom at Mother's Day.
Well, beautiful afternoon to do that.
Jabba Chamberlain will go to work here in the second inning. Oh, look at that. With Daddy.
A real junior Oriole. Yeah.
Maybe Mom has the day off.
Mom's having a good time.
Here is Felix Pie getting a start. Lou Montañez had a big game last night, but in his last at bat he was jammed and that sore thumb swelled a little bit, so Dave Tremblay wanted to give him a day off. And that fastball's too tight.
Well, see, already right there, 94. So you're throwing 89 to 92 in the first inning and come out the first pitch. He's had a whole inning to sit in there and going, okay, I'm doing did exactly what I did against the Red Sox the last time. And you mentioned it, Jim, what the first 4 guys scored with the Jason Bay 3-run home run against the Red Sox. The next batter got on, and then all the way to 5 2/3 innings, they had an infield hit, a couple of walks, and a hit batsman. So nobody else got a base hit out of the infield after that. See if that Chamberlain's able to do that again.
Ground ball towards short. Jeter backhands. The throw across in time to get PA and 1 down. And Jeter, knowing PA can run.
Well, this is something. And this is something they worked on with Mick Kelleher, who was their roving instructor. And basically, it's roots to the ball. When you have a fast runner, you can't circle the ball. You need to go to it right away, and Derek does that.
He may have pulled a muscle down the line or maybe a cramp. He appeared to come up limping just before he got to the bag. Yep, there it is. We'll see if that's just a cramp, if he'll be able to stay in the game. And here's Andino, and there's a strike. The other thing about that Chamberlain start that you were talking about, that when you look at the line, he ended up with 12 strikeouts, and 9 were called strike threes. Another bouncer towards short. Jeter near the bag. 2 down.
Well, Johnny Damon said something after last night's game. Philip Hughes went into the second inning, ended up getting knocked out. The Orioles score 8 runs, and the first 3 hits were just ground balls, and then he made a series of mistakes. Didn't really walk anybody in that inning. But Johnny Damon said, listen, our pitchers, whether they're young or old, have to understand, if you have a bad inning, that's it. Get back on track. We have the kind of offense that's going to allow you to come back. Now, the same thing applies to the Orioles. You don't want to have big innings, but if you have them, 3-run home runs certainly. Guthrie did it the other night. Just that Chamberlain was, Sabathia was so good on Friday night, it didn't make a whole lot of difference. But 3 runs. The Yankees are averaging 5.6 runs a game. So what's 3 runs to them?
Well, and last night I think was a good example as well. They eventually, New York did score 5 runs, and on most nights 5 runs will be enough to give you a chance to win. The Orioles had that big 8-run second inning, but their hitters are so potent, and they do have power up and down the lineup, as do the Orioles. Luke Scott, who's batting 6th in this lineup, has 5 home runs, and the team lead is 6. Ball and a strike on Roberts, who singled leading off in the bottom of the first. His 3rd hit on the homestand. Slider breaks in for a strike. Chamberlain just 23 years old in his 3rd season. He broke in a couple of years ago as the setup man to Mariano Rivera. Last year he was part starter, part reliever, but this year all starts. It's his 6th appearance of the year and his 6th start. High pop-up foul. Bryant timed that fastball. And that's out of play, 1-2. Well, Brian Roberts certainly putting together some big-time numbers early on in his career. How about a comparison to a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, and the important thing is the Molitor's in there because he had well over 3,000 hits. He could steal bases, as you can see. Would be more of a prolific home run hitter as he got mature, but he was a guy that just got on base and scored a bunch of runs. He was an amazing leadoff hitter. And the out would hit second. And then they had a bunch of hitters: Cecil Cooper, Gorman Thomas, Sexto Lescano, Ben Ogilvie. Of course, that's why they got to the World Series. Awfully good hitting team in Milwaukee when Molitor started there.
Harvey's wall bangers back in the early 80s.
And that's what Brian brings to this ball club. Get on base. As you mentioned, not running as much as far as stealing bases. 50 of them, 40 plus last year. Or 50, I guess, last year.
And down on strikes goes Brian Roberts. That ends the inning. So Chamberlain has a bounce back inning. 3 up, 3 down go the O's. We'll head to the 3rd. 3-1 Orioles. The bottom of the first inning. This is the rubber game of the 3-game series. Jim Hunter and Jim Palmer, and I love the intensity and the enthusiasm the Orioles showed in that first inning. Jabba Chamberlain, a pitcher who has a reputation for showing up opponents. Aubrey Huff hits the home run. You know what? He gave it right back to him, and you love the intensity for his teammates.
Well, you're right, and I think if we look back over the last couple of years, the Orioles, over an 11-year period, haven't really been a winning ball club. But usually, if you beat the Yankees, it tells you, hey, you know what? We can compete with some of the best teams in the American League East. So a good start. It's anybody's ball game, 3-1 in the American League East. It doesn't mean a whole lot, but tell you what, you got to start out well, and hopefully that'll last.
Now, if you're a teammate of Jabba Chamberlain's, you obviously love his enthusiasm. You love his talent. But doesn't some of that showboating become counterproductive because it kind of makes his teammates a target?
Well, I think it's a little bit different. The guy that I call the captain of this team is Derek Jeter. Have you ever seen Derek Jeter show up anybody? Never. One of the classiest guys in baseball. Cal Ripken, who played here. Again, Brian Roberts ever hit a home run and could flex the muscle. I don't think you're going to see that happen. I honestly think if you do it, you go about your business. You're young. You're only 23 years old. But you want to treat people with respect. You know what? If you're going to punch guys out and point at them and do all that kind of stuff, give them the fist, as Jonathan Papelbon does for the Red Sox. When you give it up, why shouldn't the other team have a chance to do it? And again, what you talked about, I like the intensity, the fact this is a big game, trying to win the series, and all of a sudden they have a 3-1 lead.
Well, Jeter with the leadoff single here in the Yankee third inning, and now Johnny Damon up, and the count 1-0. So Koji Uehara will pitch carefully with a runner on. Of course, with a 2-run lead now, the tying run at the plate. Jeter runs, and it's fouled back. So Joe Girardi puts the runner in motion. Now Jeter back to the base. Damon in his first at-bat struck out as he couldn't reach a good split finger pitch that broke out of the strike zone.
But ideally, you'd like to have gotten Jeter out, because right now you have, he's 7 for 7 when he wants to steal a base. Going to turn 35 in a couple of months. So you open up the hole. It makes it a little bit more difficult. If he does run, and that'll be down in the count a little bit, because I think Joe Girardi would like to have him take advantage of maybe hitting a ground ball into right field, and then all of a sudden you get into the big guys. One thing about Koji, he has to be able to pitch ahead as he is here, because then the splitter is more effective. But we have seen teams, whether it's the Angels, whether the Red Sox or the Tampa Bay, make some adjustments as you get through the order second and third time. But his stuff is really, 86 miles per hour. If you had a young, just imagine if he's not 34 and he doesn't have 9 years of experience in Japan, if you said, warm up, let me see what you have, and guy threw 86, you'd go, I'm sorry, we can't sign you. But when you take the package of commanding the ball and changing speeds, pitching the different quadrants of the strike zone, holding runners, even though he doesn't do that particularly well, all of a sudden, he's got to be perfect. Can't live in the middle of the plate. And that's what the Yankees are waiting for.
Jeter, the leadoff single, 1 out of 2. Yankees have actually been a stolen base team this year. Jim mentioned Jeter, 7 out of 7. The Yankees have stolen 23 bases. They've been caught only 2 times. And this is a team that usually plays for the big inning because they have the hitters capable of doing that. Uehara keeping close watch on Jeter at first, who doesn't go, and he got Damon. So Damon down on strikes for a second time. That's number 3 for Uehara. So 1 away in the third inning. Well, Mark Teixeira not hitting for average, but he's certainly hitting for power.
Well, last night, big lead for Adam Eaton. He gets behind him, and he just launches an 89-mile-per-hour fastball. Today, he covers the outer, third of the plate. Ball is down, gets it up in the air. He's a great fly ball hitter. Tremendous leverage. And that was on a fastball. I'm not sure we're going to see him getting a whole lot of fastballs in the middle of the plate again, even though it wasn't a horrible pitch. It just tells you that this is one of the reasons they went out and signed Mark Teixeira for $180 million. For 7 years? 8 years, I guess it is.
A little low, he lays off. Teixeira now 29 years old. 5 consecutive years he's hit at least 30 home runs and has driven in 100. And he gives the Yankees another switch hitter in the middle of their lineup.
And those numbers, they obviously they sound like they're good numbers, but the only other two guys that have done that is Albert Pujols and Alex Rodriguez.
High pop up towards the line, shallow left, PA a long run, and he gets there and he has it for the out. That's a huge out for Uehara and 2 men down.
Well, again, how many times do we see the Orioles, you get the leadoff guy on and you don't advance Reiter? So the ability to get Donnie Damon out. Damon with a 2-run home run, double over the bag the first game. So you get him out, then you get Teixeira out, and now you hope that A-Rod still has, I don't know, got a hangover from his hip or something like that, because we know with one swing he can tie this game up. And that's what he did on Friday night, early 3-run home run off of Jeremy Guthrie at 98 miles per hour up and in.
It's his only hit in this series, and it came on the first pitch he saw.
And the reason he has 500, well, there's a lot of reasons he has 554 home runs, but the reason he can do it is because he can hit the ball out at any point in the ballpark. I mean, he can take you to right field straight away. Tremendous power.
That one's high, 1-0.
Of course, I say that, and then you have all the revelations of all the things that have gone on. You go, well, maybe that's why. But there was a really interesting article in the New York Times today by William Roden basically saying, you know what, people don't really care. I mean, the purists do, but baseball fans, especially Yankee fans, they don't care. At the end of the day, if Alex Rodriguez goes back even last year when he had the hip problems, hitting 35 home runs and driving in 100 runs, or hitting 54 home runs, or being a 3-time MVP as he has been, people are going to forgive that.
You're in the Hall of Fame. You earned your way in. Can you look at his numbers now the same as you did prior?
No, and that's why I'm saying, well, he has power to right and center and left.
Popped him up. Shallow right, long in, running for Markakis. He'll get there, and Jones calls him off. Jones had a better angle in the sun, and the inning's retired. Base hit, a man left. Good comeback by Koji. 3-1 Birds. Lead on Masson HD as we go to the bottom of the third. Rubber game of 3. Big game for the Orioles. A swing game on this homestand. Tampa Bay will be here on Tuesday and Wednesday after a day off tomorrow, and then the Orioles head out on the road. Jones set to lead off. Markakis and Huffle follow. Orioles got 5 hits and 3 runs off Chamberlain in the first inning. Adam Jones, one of those hits, so his current hitting streak is now 3 straight. There's a strike, slider on the outside corner. Jabba Chamberlain has hit 5 batters already on the year, and he's only gotten 1 start without hitting a batter. And what that tells me, when you see a guy who occasionally will be wild, but what that tells me is he tries to intimidate and use that to his advantage to back a hitter off the plate or intimidate a hitter who's at the plate.
Well, he does have great stuff, better stuff in the second inning, and that's part of his. I mean, that's part of the, I guess, the fear factor, the intimidation, whatever you want to call it. And there's that hard slider. I mean, all of a sudden we have a different guy that pitched back in the first inning. Slider a little bit harder. Fastball went 2 to 3 to 4 miles per hour harder in the second inning. Exactly what happened against the Red Sox, where after the first inning didn't give up any runs. But again, those 12 strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings. He's a strikeout guy.
Sharply in towards the middle. There's a base hit. So down 1-2 in the count. Adam Jones, who makes a big turnaround first base, gets his second base hit. He now has 16 multi-hit games on the year. So a leadoff single in the third. Today's leaderboard presented by Firestone, a tradition of innovation. And how about runs leaders in the American League? Nick Markakis 33, Adam Jones 32, the top two leaders in scoring runs.
Yeah, 3 hits last night. One of the 4 Orioles that had 3 hits. Zahn and Jones and Nick and Luke Scott. He hit one of the hardest hit balls in the first inning, did Nick Markakis, and it was right at Nick Swisher in right field. Well, that last fastball, 95, and it didn't matter to Adam Jones because he threw it down the middle, knee high, and he just spanked it up the middle for a base hit.
Pitcher Markakis is there for a strike. The base hit by Jones, and now 16 multi-hit games. He ties Aaron Hill of the Blue Jays for the most multi-hit games in the American League.
How about those Blue Jays?
Keep playing well.
12. The Yankees are A.J. Burnett against Roy Halladay on Tuesday night after an off night, or off day tomorrow.
Markakis fouls it off, 0-2 the count.
Yeah, tough to get to that fastball, and all of a sudden he's amped up the velocity, 93 to 95.
Chamberlain has struck out 2. He has not yet walked a batter. 3 runs on 6 hits.
Well, they bought Chamberlain up back in 2007, and it was really unbelievable. He pitched 24 innings and struck out 12. Took him, 15 2/3 innings to give up a run that year, and that's how overpowering it was pitching the 8th inning.
Fastball's high.
Last year started him out in the bullpen, said they were going to, because they wanted to limit the innings. Most innings he ever pitched in the minor leagues, well, in about 70. So they wanted to limit it to about 170 innings. So they started in the bullpen, and then eventually he would come on as a starter. 12 games started, 100 innings, would have some rotator cuff problems that would put him on the disabled list for about 3 weeks in late August.
Just off the plate, 2-2.
Well, that's where you have to trust the umpire. 2-seamer down and away. You know it's off the corner. Does he? And Mark Carlson, the appropriate call, a couple inches off the outside corner. Calls it a ball.
Adam Jones on at first, leadoff single. Orioles trying to add to a 3-1 lead. Another throw over.
Well, we now get into a situation as you get deeper that there's a good chance that Adam Jones will probably run. We know he's going to be running 3-2. Dave Tremblay and the Orioles trying to stay out of double play.
Jones has a good lead off first base.
Yeah, an ample lead.
He has 3 steals on the year. He's been caught twice. Doesn't go. Down and in with a slider, ball 3. Field the third on the check swing, and Jeff Nelson said he checked in time. So 3-2 on Markakis.
So the little subtle things, if you're a young starting pitcher, difference between 3-2 and 2-2, you have speed, you're going to start the runner, harder to get the double play. Not impossible. Ball back up the middle. Maybe Jeter could catch it and step on the bag.
And the other part of this at bat, he was 0-2 after 2 pitches.
Well, trying to make the perfect pitch to Nick Markakis, and I think the way Nick is hitting, you get the feeling if you're the opposition, that's what you need to do. They look at film, covers the outside corner, maybe up and in, you can get him out.
Jones is running, and it's outside, ball 4.
And look at that throw from Cervelli. Doesn't really matter. They call him out, but it's ball 4, so it doesn't really matter. In fact, he called him out a couple of times. Bob Davidson, who took one in the right bicep.
Bob Davidson is going to say that he went beyond the base and as a result, he is out.
Oh, wait a minute. Well, you know, he might have a point there.
Dave Tremblay getting the explanation from Bob Davidson, but the play should be over. There's no reason to go through with it.
And Adam Jones also should have, and then heads up play by Derek Jeter. And he's right. You got to take a look, because you're not trying to steal the base, you're just trying to be in motion. So a base running mistake, and Dave really cannot argue this. He knows that Bob Davidson made the right call. It's just a young player, just makes a mistake. Trying to get down there. He's going to be out either way. So a chance to have runners at first and second, nobody out. Now all of a sudden, one out and runner at first.
So that is a big play here, because instead of 2 on and none out, there's a runner on at first and 1 down. And here is Aubrey Huff.
And how heads of a play by Francisco Cervelli. I mean, he comes up firing even though it's ball 4. If he doesn't make the throw, because it is ball 4, there's no play at second.
Outside. Well, Aubrey Huff last night got into one. And today.
Yeah, both breaking balls. Look where they are. One on the outside corner, one in a little bit in the middle. Both of them 3-run home runs. So with 2 swings, 6 RBIs. Came in with 28 RBIs, now has 31.
Inside with a fastball, backs him off the plate. We're 2-0 on Aubrey Huff. So the Orioles have had 2 runners caught on the bases in this game. Melvin Mora broke and then stopped trying to steal in the first, and Jones for going past the bat. Ball 3 to Aubrey Huff.
Now, do you let him hit 3-0? I would imagine you would. You have a guy that's a great fastball hitter, even though his last 2 home runs have come on curveballs. You would think he'd be swinging here.
Markakis has a small lead off first base. 3-0 on Huff. And he had a good rip at it.
You know, a lot of managers will not let hitters swing, and Aubrey's going, well, I should have maybe made that ball be it down a little bit, but it wasn't like a check swing. We had a guy, Andres Mora, out of Mexico, best 3-0 hitter I saw, and Earl Weaver knew it, and he got to hit 3-0. Innumerable home run swings on 3-0 counts. That's what you like to see.
Markakis runs, and it's inside, ball 4. So back-to-back walks, 2 on with 1 down. And fans, don't forget online voting for the 2009 Major League Baseball All-Star Game is live at Orioles.com. Don't miss your chance to vote orange and save green. By voting for your favorite birds the maximum 25 times, you'll receive a free upper reserve seat to any non-prime game after the All-Star break. So vote early and vote often. For all the details, go online, Orioles.com/vote orange. And here's Melvin Mora, first and second, 1 down. And a breaking ball for a strike.
Well, just think how good this offense is going to be when Melvin gets back to, I don't know if he's going to get back to where he was last year, where he drove in 57 runs in 48 games over the second half of the year. But again, disabled list, last 10 games, not hitting where he'd like. Only 8 for 42, even though he had that long home run the other night against the Twins.
And Moore takes low.
And you see a little bit of it when Melvin's at his best. He's going to spray the ball over the ballpark.
Ty Wigginton on deck to pinch hit for Luke Scott.
That's not good news.
No. Luke is the DH today.
And then Felix PA kind of pulled up, running down to first base. His first time up.
One-on-one on Moore. Markakis and Huff on base, 1 down. Strike at the knees. Moore thought it was too low. Well, there's a huge pitch. Instead of 2-1, it's 1-2.
Well, this is that 2-seam fastball, and you can see he caught it there where it appeared to be under the strike zone. The umpire is supposed to call it in relative terms to the batter's knees, so a lot of times the catcher, the ball may be low. But when it crossed the knees, it must have been a strike. At least that's what Mark Carlson thought.
One and two on Mora. Outside, 2-2. Chamberlain has pitched much better on the road for the Yankees this year. His ERA in 3 road starts, 1.47. His ERA in 2 home starts, 7.84.
Well, a tough ballpark to pitch in, especially if you throw balls to right center field. There are the numbers that Jim Hunter was telling you about. Philip Hughes last night, until last night, was better on the road than at Yankee Stadium.
Inside ball 3, so another 3-2 count to an Oriole hitter. Chamberlain has walked back-to-back hitters. He benefited from Adam Jones oversliding second base.
So let's see if they run again here. And you can see Cervelli, defensive guy, comes out, tells everybody 1 out, 3-2. You would think that if he's going to attempt to throw anybody out, Huff doesn't have as much speed, he would make the throw down to second base. So again, Joe Girardi, his manager, former catcher. So he looks on. They have the signs.
3-2 on Melvin Mora. Runners do not go. Mora hits it back to the mound. Chamberlain, second out there. Cano back to first and out there. So 1-4-3, and that ends the inning. And the Orioles had a promising inning going, and the double play ball gets Chamberlain out of it. So back to second, back to first. We'll head to the 4th and a 3-1 game.
It's Mother's Day, and we welcome in one of the new Oriole moms. She is Christina Markakis with young Taylor there. What's your first Mother's Day like?
It has been absolutely wonderful. Definitely put a new perspective on the word Mother's Day for me.
There's a number of moms here in the suite. You guys all celebrating together?
We are. We have our neighbors here and some family.
Now, you mentioned that you spend a lot of time at the ballpark. Nick likes to know that you and Taylor are here giving your support.
Yes, he does. He doesn't like us to be at home. He likes us to be here.
Well, the moms of the Oriole moms, you guys are like your own team. I'm sure you guys kind of stick together and share stories and camaraderie, huh?
Oh, yeah, we do. Actually, they were just up here, a group of them, Friday night, and we were just all inside just talking our lives, how crazy it is.
Well, Taylor's well-behaved right now, not camera shy or anything. Congratulations to you, and happy Mother's Day, Christina.
Thank you very much.
There you go, guys. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms from Christina Markakis. And now back to the booth, Jim and Jim.
All right, Viv, thank you very much. And what a beautiful sight that was. Healthy young boy. That is great. Congratulations to Nick and Christina. And happy Mother's Day to all the moms. And she makes a very good point. Baseball wives, it's a tough life.
Is it ever?
Players are at the ballpark probably from 2 in the afternoon on, day in, day out. Then there's the road trips, and there goes Matsui down on strikes number 4. for Uehara.
Well, they asked Hideki Matsui before Koji's first start against the Yankees back in April, how would he do? And he said, well, I haven't seen him in a while, but if he pitches the way he's capable, he certainly can be very effective. And we've seen it. I mean, he's given up the 1 run, a home run to Mark Teixeira, and it wasn't by any stretch of the imagination a bad pitch. It just was a good hitter covering the outside part of the plate, getting the ball in the air.
Swisher struck out his first at bat. Swings through it 0-1.
It just appears to me that Koji even hasn't had a lot of run support, but his trouble has come in usually the 6th or 7th inning. So again, Adam Eaton not feeling well last night, a little bit wild. 5 walks, had a 9-1 lead. I think the Orioles would have liked to have had him go a little bit longer, so they could have maybe matched up Danny Baez, who's been terrific in the middle innings for the Orioles. So if he does get in any trouble and the Orioles don't score any runs, maybe you win a close game.
Hard hit ball and a base hit in the right field. So Swisher's on with a 1-out single. Yankees have had base hits in each of their 4 at-bats against Uehara. And Swisher now 1 out of 2. Now bring up Robinson Cano, and again with a 2-run lead for the Orioles. Each time a man gets on, here comes the tying run possibility at the plate. Cano had a good at bat his first at bat, so he doubled, and he was down in the count 1-2.
He was, and we've seen a lot of splitters and not too many changeups, and the one changeup was a hanging changeup to Cano, and he hit it right over Aubrey Huff's head down into the corner. So what do they start him off with? Fastball down and away. One thing about Robinson Cano, if he has a consistent year, he's usually one of those perennial second half hitters. Starts slow. He asked Kevin Long, the hitting instructor, Joe Girardi, the manager. They said, I have no idea. And again, he's a very free swinger, doesn't walk a whole lot. But he had a great spring, played in the World Baseball Classic early on for the Dominican. They got eliminated. And there's your outside corner. And the reason he's such a good hitter, almost won a batting title 3 years ago, is because he can, again, use the whole field. He can hit home runs. To me, he's one of the best young hitters in baseball. It's just a matter of maturing and understanding. You don't have to swing at every pitch before you get to 2 strike.
We marvel following the Orioles day in and day out how well Nick Markakis hits the ball to left field. Cano may be better at it for base hits. Pops him up. Melvin Mora glasses down right near the bag and has it for the second out. On Wednesday, June 17th, first 25,000 fans, 15 and over, coming to the game against the Mets at Camden Yards, receive an Adam Jones bobblehead. This unique bobblehead features Adam leaping for a catch against the center field wall while blowing a bubble, which he is known to do. And it's sure to be a big hit for fans and collectors. So don't miss out. Get your tickets in advance, 888-848-BIRD, or get online at Orioles.com. He's still working the bubble gun. It's amazing how he can do that. Line a single to center field and halfway to first base, looking and see where the ball is. He's blowing a bubble.
Well, the amazing thing is that he's going to be playing center field for the Orioles. I mean, that is so huge. With an organization trying to get back on the winning track. That's how good it. I've seen a lot of players since I got here in 1965, and Adam Jones is up there in the top 10 of young players. And of course, it's up to him to make the adjustments. He's going to get a lot of help from his hitting instructor, who's one of the best in baseball. He's got some, the other young guys, whether it's Brian Roberts or Markakis around him. Huff, of course, is a veteran. But he's going to be a terrific player in all senses of the game. 5-tool player, and you're looking at him when you're looking at Adam Jones.
Cabrera fouls it back. He's down in the count 0-2, and he's only 23 years old, Adam Jones. So going through the adjustment part.
What I like about him is how good a guy he is.
Oh, yeah. He is always the same, no matter when you see him.
Well, yeah, I will. I will disagree a little bit, only when he broke his foot last year. Well, he wasn't a real happy guy.
That's a little different.
No, I know. I'm just kidding.
He's a little disappointed.
Yes, he was.
High pop up. Mora back. Still going back. Can't reach it. Cabrera was just protecting the outside corner. Good hustle there by Melvin Mora.
Yeah, Melvin's trying to get back to being loose after that pickle when he got caught off of first base and ran back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Melvin's family was featured on O's Extra today before the game.
The flock?
Yep. That was fun watching them their first day in Little League a couple of weeks back. They all have, well, 4 of the 5 play. The one daughter just wants to concentrate on gymnastics, but.
Well, that's great. I did the Little League World Series for years, and they were actually up in Williamsport in the finals. They had a number of young girls that were very good players.
1-2 pitches foul back, and the kids, they wear number 4 because that was Melvin's number in Venezuela. Number 6 because that's his number here. Number 13 because in Venezuela that's the lucky number, and number 11 because they just happen to like it.
I think Dave Concepcion wore 13.
Absolutely.
Now I know why.
Omar Vizquel.
Yeah.
Ozzie Guillen. Number 11 was Louis. He was a pretty good shortstop.
Yes, he was. Yeah, Hall of Famer. I tell you, Cabrera's doing a nice job of spoiling pitchers' pitches. But he's always been able to handle the bat. From both sides of the plate.
Swisher on at first with 2 down. He singled with 1 away.
.71 pitches. So the Yankees have made Koji work. Not wild by any means. I think it goes back to the radar gun where he just can't make a whole lot of mistakes early, so he has to stay out of the middle of the plate, and when he's on his game he's able to do that.
He's very similar to Daisuke Matsusaka of the Red Sox in the sense that he doesn't seem to mind going deep in counts to literally every batter. I mean, you look at Matsusaka leading the league in walks, and then you look at his ERA, and you can tell how he pitches around certain hitters.
Yeah, Daisuke with a little bit better stuff, velocity-wise. But you're seeing a lot of it, and he's always going to cut the ball, and Daisuke is always going to move it around.
So from 1-2 to 3-2 because of the foul balls.
So Swisher will be running now. He'll be running on comp, but he'll get a bigger lead now because Huff's playing behind him to take away the hole.
High fly ball to center field. Jones moves in a couple of steps. And he has it for the out. So 1 out single and a man left. Uehara works out of it. Mother's Day at the ballpark, and the O's have a lead.
Three to 1. Ty Wigginton is going to lead off the inning, batting for Luke Scott. Word is that Luke Scott pickoff throw from the catcher. Day to day is the listing as the doctors for the Orioles are examining Luke Scott out with a shoulder injury. Ty Wigginton to bat for him here to lead off the fourth. Now back to Jim and Jim in the booth.
All right, Viv, so that's a tough break for the Orioles because Luke Scott was really starting to heat up. He was 11 for his last 26, batting over 400 in the month of May. So here is Wigginton. Power against power, strike one.
Yeah, a little different pitcher in the second, third, and now into the fourth inning. Job of Chamberlain. Stuff got a lot better. Just the big blow in the first inning. The Aubrey Huff 3-run home run on a curveball.
Hop foul, first base side. Teixeira over. That'll be back in the crowd.
Well, I think part of pitching, and I didn't see it from Jabba, not that he pitched poorly last year, is but when you have power stuff and you have what can be an overpowering fastball with great location because he has a really good windup. You usually throw a lot of fastballs when you make them react and then you use your other stuff. He pitches as a starter like he used to pitch the 8th inning where he just needs 3 outs, and then what do you do in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th? But the last 2 games, when I think that's the disappointing thing for the Yankees, is that he hasn't come out like he needs to get 3 outs. To me, it was a statement. You come out, get the first 3 guys out, then you let your guys come up and hit, and you go on from there.
0-2 on Wigginton. And fouls it off to stay alive.
You want the hitter to feel like he, especially when you have a good fastball, that he has to speed the bat up, and it makes your breaking stuff more effective.
He has struck out 2 batters. He has walked 2. Orioles have 6 base hits. 5 of those hits came in the first inning. And that hit him.
Well, there you predicted it earlier.
Wrong guy.
No. As far as he hits a guy just about every game. And this is a lack of fastball command. You're trying to come in. Cervelli's going to slide in, and then you just throw it about a foot inside. Ty Wigginton says, you know what, I've looked at film, can't understand why I'm not hitting as well, and he just says, I'll take one for the club.
I'll tell you what, that guy's tough. He probably didn't even feel that. So a leadoff base runner, and here's Greg Zahn. High fly ball to center field. Melky Cabrera's there, and on one pitch Zahn is retired for the out. 1 away in the Oriole 4th inning. Well, on Wednesday, if you have some time, come on down and spend your lunch hour with Orioles Reach and O's reliever Chris Ray. That'll be at the ESPN Zone in the Inner Harbor. Chris will be on hand from noon until 1. He'll sign autographs, meet fans, and he will answer your questions about the Orioles. That comes up Wednesday, noon until 1 at the ESPN Zone in Baltimore. For details, just get online, OriolesReach.com. And there is Chris. It's actually a makeup of the original date. That was the day of the water main break, and the zone was closed.
And finally got that fixed.
Is that right?
Well, it is real difficult when you live on the east side of town and the ballpark's on the other side of the harbor to get from east to west when the major east to west thoroughfare, which is Lombard Street, was closed for about 10 or 12 days.
1-1 on PA.
Still a lot of those metal things they put over holes and stuff like that.
Bounce towards the middle. That gets through for a base hit. And Wigginton's going to make the turn and go towards third. The throw is not in time, and that allows PA to get to second base. There's a mistake for Melky Cabrera. If you're going to throw to third, you better get him. And that wasn't even close, and that allows PA to move up.
Well, there's no cutoff, man, because Jeter is going up the middle. Now, I don't know what he's thinking about right here, because the one thing about Ty Wigginton, he runs very well. You tell you he's tough. Well, he's also a big guy. He runs well for a big guy. So he goes all the way to first and third. I mean, they've got a great angle here. This ball kind of just finds a hole up the middle. I mean, there's no way you're going to throw anybody out. So Cabrera makes a mistake, and now the Orioles have a chance to add to their 3-1 lead. And you need to do that.
And that was about a 75 hopper through the middle, and the way PA's going, he'll take it. So now the Orioles got something going. Sorry,
and he didn't even hesitate when Wigginton went to third. He just went to second base. So there's no double play in order.
And Dino fouls it back.
Only 3 opportunities with runners in scoring position. So we talked about Chamberlain, 12 strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings. He is a strikeout guy. Averaged over 10 runs a strikeout, 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's what he's trying to do. And Robert Andino trying to get ball in the air, get a base hit, get the runners in.
Fastball's high, lays off. Andino last started Tuesday in Tampa. That was the finale of the road trip. And getting a start today so as Torres can get a day off. All in a strike on him. In at the corners. Slow roller. A-Rod actually backed up a step after the first strike.
Well, situational hitting, and this is what how do you do with a runner at third and less than 2 outs? Can you get them in? They keep the stats on that. As we mentioned, Robert not playing that much. Zach Greinke of Kansas City trying to go for a 7th win. The Kansas City Royals had runners at second and third, down 1-0, which would eventually be the score. Did not get him in the 8th inning off of Joe Saunders. Saunders pitching his first complete game shutout last night. They had opportunities, just couldn't get it done.
1-2, high fly ball right field, slicing towards the line and back out of play. Well, it's early in the game, only the 4th inning, and the Yankees have so much confidence in their hitting that they will play back to try to fend off a bigger inning here. So it's up to Andino, if he is going to put the ball in play, get it to one of those fielders so that run can score. The only one who would have a chance at the plate is Teixeira.
Yeah, they're more concerned with their offense about PA at second base than they are at the runner at third. Of course, Jabba Chamberlain is smelling strikeout right here. And again, he's got that devastating slider. Hadn't had a great one yet today. Now they are in at first base, and Dave Island's coming on. You have a young catcher out of Double-A, Posada Molina. Posada, their regular catcher, great offensive catcher. Molina, a catch and throw guy. Dave Island says, we're at a point in the game trailing by 2 runs. Are we on the same page here? And apparently they are.
25 pitch first inning. Orioles sent 7 men to the plate. Then he had a 3-up, 3-down second, a 4-batter third because of the Adam Jones play at second base, oversliding the base on a walk, and was tagged out by Jeter. And now 2 runners on here in the 4th. The 1-2 to Andino. Line right to Jeter at shortstop and 2 men down. That's a tough break for Andino. He hit that ball well, but right to Jeter.
Quality at bat. That's all you can sometimes muster at home plate. You go up there, you try to get the ball in the bat. Runner at third, less than 2 outs, get the ball in the air. There's that high slider, and he hits it hard, except Jeter's standing there. So Jabba Chamberlain a little bit fortunate on that pitch. Wasn't a pitcher's pitch by any means.
Brian Roberts now batting with 2 outs. Inside 1-0.
And they play him like there is no way in the world he's going to bunt, and they're right. A lot of teams play Brian short. Alex Rodriguez would probably be playing somewhere right about there. Teixeira way back. Cano really deep, slow infield.
Pulled foul behind John Shelby. A ball and a strike on Brian.
It is such an important part if you're a speed guy, and that's what Brian is. Doesn't mean he can't hit home runs. Hit home runs in back-to-back game last week. But if you just show them they'll bunt, they'll shorten up. Makes it easier to hit them by him.
Wigginton at third. PA at second now with 2 men out. All the scoring in this game came in the first inning. Hop foul out of play. 1-2.
Yeah, the one thing about Brian, singled on a fastball the first time, struck him out on a curveball, and then he comes hit almost 350 with runners in scoring position. What, he started out the year, I think 6 for 6.
He's in one of those mini slumps at the moment, but he did get a hit his first at bat and scored. Looking for a 2-out hit here in the 4th with 2 men on.
It's kind of a good news and bad news. The good news, if you're a regular, you're going to play every day. Bad news is when you're in a slump, sometimes you wish you had a day off. That's not going to happen. You just have to figure it out on the fly. Of course, Terry Crowley, the hitting instructor, he doesn't believe in moving up and back. You just work on your swing. Hope you get better pitches to hit.
And he got him. Breaking ball that he couldn't reach. Cervelli picks it up and tags him out. And that ends the threat. So the Orioles strand 2 will head to the 5th and a 3-1 game. Orioles in the first inning. Got 3 runs, 3-run home run by Aubrey Huff, who did the Jabba Chamberlain pump. And the Orioles have the 3-1 lead. And happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Happy Mother's Day to my mom, Connie, up in New Jersey. And on this day in which Major League Baseball has the breast cancer awareness, my mom is a 2-time survivor of breast cancer. So we are very fortunate for the modern medicine and all the advances made in the medical field. And happy Mother's Day to my wife, Bonnie, who really runs the show.
Yes, she does. As she should.
And she does. And I'm okay with that.
Well, at least she knows her station in life.
Taking care of me.
The boss.
It's a full-time job.
Bonnie the boss. Boss Bonnie. Whatever. We can't say the boss when the Yankees are in town because there's only the boss.
Bruce Springsteen's here?
No, he's New Jersey, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, New York, it's the boss is George Steinbrenner.
Oh.
The boss. And if he signed the modern day, as that ball's lined into left,
Cervelli with a base hit.
Yeah, you throw in those paychecks now, you can call George anything you want.
Absolutely. Yeah. $200 million a year on the club.
Well, that's not good news for Koji because again, you look at a lineup. We saw Cervelli last night. He hit a ball that was going to be a double. Melvin Moore made a outstanding play diving to his right. So Rick Kranitz says, you know what, boy, it would have been nice to get him out with Jeter coming up, followed by Damon, who's been their hottest hitter. But let's see. Maybe you can get Derek Jeter, who had 24 double plays last year. That's why they moved him from second to lead off. Flip-flop.
Calling card throw to first base.
And as a manager, you have so many options if you get deeper into the count with Derek Jeter because he handles the bat so well. You can start runners. Cervelli with pretty good speed. He's only 23 years old. Young guy.
Outside, 1-0. Jeter 1 out of 2 in the game. He singled his last at bat. He has 2,570 hits. As a Yankee, only Lou Gehrig has more.
Yeah, he's closing in on Lou.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it, Jim. This is one of the original franchises. Of course, the Yankees began their very first season was in Baltimore and then moved to New York after a year and became the Highlanders. But in the long history of this franchise, not one hitter has 3,000 hits as a Yankee. And Jeter's on pace to achieve that. He's now 34 years old. He'll turn 35 in late June.
Yeah, Gehrig would 2,721.
Popped up foul wide at first. Huff over hoping for a play, and he runs out of room. Well, Babe Ruth went through there, but not 3,000 hits. Didn't play his entire career there.
Well, he hit all those home runs and got tired.
Gehrig did. His life was cut short by the illness. Here's the Babe.
Mantle had the knee problems. DiMaggio, didn't strike out. I mean, 1 year I think he walked more times than he struck out.
Yeah, it was in 1941 he struck out 13 times, was it? 1-2 on Jeter. Now back. Of course, the Orioles, Cal had 3,000 hits as an Oriole. Eddie had 3,000 hits, but not all as an Oriole. Of course, it's a very select club there. But still, you think of the franchise, the players that have gone through New York.
I don't know exactly what, 20, maybe 25 players with 3,000 hits. We showed you earlier a comparison between Paul Molitor and Ryan Roberts. There's Molitor in the Hall of Fame because of the fact he had well over 3,000 hits.
There's the 1-2 check swing. Appeal to first. No, Mark Carlson won't ask.
Well, we talked about adjusting as you get through the lineup 2 and 3 times, and that's what Koji has done. He got a single on a splitter the second time up, couldn't reach a good fastball down and away the first time. And this time I think Koji surprised Derek, at least early on in the count, throwing a ball right by him. Maybe a little bit extra. And there's another one.
Well, Jeter down on strikes, a big out, and 2 men down.
But the one thing you got to look at is you have to look at the late life. So again, the ball just moves. It has late life. It moves through the zone, and watch the bat head trying to get to it. And again, that little uppercut swing for out number 1.
Jeter out on strikes. That's number 5. And here's Damon. Fouls it back. The reason why that's such a big out is Damon, Jim mentioned, is hot. You'd prefer he not come to the plate as the go-ahead run, and if Jeter gets on, that would have been the case.
And what he has showed us, I mean, he hit a curveball for a 2-run home run right center field. You throw him down and away, he sliced a double over the bag. They had the 4th run on Friday night to make the game 3-0 to 4-0, which is the way it would end. So all over the place. And again, what does Koji do? Paints the outside corner.
5 Ks for Koji. He has not yet walked a batter. He won his first 2 starts, 0-3 and a no decision since, even though his ERA is much better in those 4 starts than it was in the first 2.
Run support.
Yep.
10-7 in his first 2 games.
He won 112 games in Japan, pitching in his 7th game as an Oriole. Hard hit ball to second, could be 2. Roberts, second one. Andino back to first. There's a double play. Nicely turned by Roberts and Andino. 4-6-3 ends the inning. Base hit, none left. Birds coming up in the 5th with a 2-run lead.
Kids Corner, family games, a moonbounds, climb and play area. It's a kid-friendly area. Even a special Orioles merchandise store tailored to younger fans. A special concession stand sells kid-size hot dogs, popcorn, and soda for $1. Bring your family to the Oriole Park Kids Corner on the ballpark's main concourse level, just inside Gate C on the first base side. And on Mother's Day, let the kids run wild and let Mom relax a little bit. Now back to Jim and Jim in the booth.
All right, Viv, now come clean with us. You were out there in that moon bounce, weren't you?
You know, I was in line, and the kids wouldn't let me in, Jim. They just wouldn't let me.
Hey, that guy's too big. He can't come in here.
That's what they said.
Out there with the kids. So that's a lot of fun for the youngsters. That's a good idea. Have Dad bring the kids out there. Mom can enjoy the game.
Is that what you and Dupper do? That's how you
moon bounce.
Get ready in between the pre-game and the post-game.
You got to stay loose.
The kid that's coming to the game that's stayed pretty loose, wouldn't you say, Adam Jones?
Adam Jones, 2 for 2. Markakis and Huff will follow. All the scoring in this game in the first inning. Fastballs outside. Now Jones, 2 for 2. He already has 4 3-hit games this year. Swung through that. 1-1 the count. And with his 2 hits today, he now has the team lead in base hits, 1 more than Nick Markakis. Adam with 43 hits.
Yeah, also tied along with Nick is for the most assists in the American League. There's that good sinking fastball. One thing about Jabba Chamberlain, for a 23-year-old kid, he has a pretty good feel for pitching. And he'll sink the ball, he'll ride the ball. Needed a big strikeout, threw the best curve ball of the afternoon to Brian Roberts with runners in second and third to get out of the last inning.
Check swing, up, he went too far. Mark Carlson calls him out.
Even the pink bat didn't help.
So there's strikeout number 4, one out in the 5th.
If you're Tim Tashida, that's what he's looking at. And again, it's not breaking your wrist. How far did the bat travel? And apparently, between Mark Carlson and Tim Tashida, they thought it went far enough. I always thought that I got a lot of bad calls when I used the pink bat in Little League. They just see it better.
You had pink bats back in that era?
Yeah. Beverly Hills, come on.
There's Nick's wife, Christina.
We were way ahead of the curve in Beverly Hills with pink bats back in the 50s.
How about that?
I didn't even use, I mean, I played so long ago, I didn't even use aluminum bats. I was a legitimate wooden bat Little Leaguer.
That's why you were such a good hitting pitcher before they took it away from you with the DH.
They brought, when I was playing in Anaheim, they brought some little kid from Beverly Hills. They brought him out to Anaheim. He wanted to meet me because he had broken my home run record. He was about 4 feet tall and weighed about 80 pounds. I said, yeah, but you used an aluminum bat. Get out of here. I'll give you an autograph, but go.
A little nubber towards the mound. Chamberlain knocks it down. He won't have a play. That's an infield base hit for Nick Markakis.
Yep. Nick scurrying as his wife Christina looks on down the first baseline. If you feel that he's probably going to throw him out, another 2-seamer. See him peel off to first base. That step or two makes it a difficult play, and then the ball's going to hit him up on the heel of the glove, and once that happens, no chance.
So Markakis on. He's 1 out of 2. And here is Aubrey Huff, who the big hit in the first inning, his 3-run home run, responsible for the 3 runs.
The big fist pump. I tell you, that's one of the classic things I've seen here in the 2009 season. Chamberlain, who has a tendency of striking people out and then giving the fist pump. Aubrey Huff did it coming around first, and then when he got to home plate.
Outside, 1-0. Here's the first inning home run and the giving it back to Jabba fist pump.
Oh.
1-0. Fisted towards short. Jeter has it for the out. Markakis picked it up and stays 2 down. Boy, that one saw him off.
Well, you're right. It was a perfect 95-mile-per-hour fastball in on your fist. And if you could go back, you shoot a commercial, you make a mistake, you go take 2. You don't get take 2s in baseball, whether you're a hitter or a pitcher. That same pitch in the first inning, you're not hitting any home runs. But he threw him a curveball, sped up the bat. To Aubrey's credit, he was all over it as he was last night. So that is back-to-back curveballs in back-to-back games that he has done serious damage. It's all right to throw it, just don't throw it in the middle of the plate.
Here's Melvin Mora. Fastball's high, 1-0.
But this is a different stuff pitcher here in the 5th than it was in the first. The interesting thing, the Yankees have great notes in their game notes, and we talked about the 12 strikeouts. That's the most strikeouts since Mike Messina back in 2003 for a Yankee pitcher. But it's also in a pitcher that struck out 12 and gave up 4 first inning runs. You got to go all the way back to 1959. Herb Score, who was one of the best young left-handers in baseball, until hit with that line drive by Gil McDougall and the other guys in the Hall of Fame, Nolan Ryan.
1-0 on Mora. Breaking ball for a strike. And a view from the warehouse. That is a nice view. There's Swisher in right field. You see the bottom of the screen. Is that your office?
No, I was up there the other day, and it is a nice view. There's a lot of windows, too, to take a view out of.
Or fouls it off. Camera well.
Now, we know the warehouse is, what, about 1,052 feet long and 53 feet wide, but does anybody really counted the windows? Now, that would be something you would do, I guess, if you're in the bullpen.
Would you like that done for our next?
No, I just kind of wondered. There are some serious, and not only on the one side, but on the end and on the other side. I mean,
and it also has a basement with no.
Actually, oh yeah, it does.
More protects to stay alive.
There is a note, and I don't know if it's still in the press guide, that if you took the B&O warehouse, which is out in right center field, it really runs all the way to center field, and put it on end, it is as tall as the Empire State Building. Do you think that's possible?
It wouldn't seem so.
No, it wouldn't. There it is, warehouse B.
Warehouse A. Here's Jim Palmer's office.
Okay. It's actually it's shrunk. It's 1,016 feet.
How can it shrink?
Well, I'm just saying. I just remember it being a little bit.
This one's trouble towards the corner, and it is foul.
So it's 1,016 feet long, and only 51 feet wide. And they have taken that, and again, this was something that was in the press guide a couple of years ago, that really, if you stood on, it's the tallest, the narrowest, tallest building in the East.
Is it as long as a cruise ship?
Oh, I think much bigger.
There was a cruise ship out in the harbor today.
Well, it's not as big as a warehouse.
Cruise ship?
It's at the bottom of the harbor if it's that big. Come on. It's going right to the bottom. Come on. I don't care if it's buoyant.
Fastball's high, 2-2.
But I tell you, really, it does make this ballpark. I mean, it's just what a great backdrop.
Classic. This is a beautiful place to watch baseball. There's Markakis on at first. He had an infield hit. Now with two men down, Moore trying to keep this inning going. Good eye. The Orioles have had base runners in each inning except the second against Chamberlain. That was the only 3-up, 3-down inning, but he keeps getting the big out since the Huff home run. And after a very rocky start, he really has settled down. Markakis will be off at the pitch, so Teixeira backs up behind him. Full count with 2 down. And Moore is down on strike, so Chamberlain gets out of it. 2 strikeouts of the inning. And the inning ends. Base hit to bad left. And the restaurant at the warehouse in a 3-1 Orioles lead.
a tremendous blessing to me, and I'm thankful to the Lord for you. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Love you.
First, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, especially my mom, Andrea Bradley. I love you, thinking about you every day, and have a safe Mother's Day.
Nicely done by Luke and Adam. Remember when Adam's mom visited us in the booth last year? She took over the telecast. What a nice lady. Hopefully she's watching out in Arizona.
Yeah, we know who ran that household, don't we?
Yep. And
as it should be.
She raised a fine young man. 3-1 game. And here is Teixeira, who got the Orioles on the board in the first inning. Rodriguez and Matsui will follow. Hard gets ahead.
Yeah, a little bit off that. Again, the home run, the solo shot. And if you're going to throw him, and you can see the numbers versus right. He's only hit 171 this year, which is unbelievable. Even though that ball softly hit the Melvin ball.
Yeah, that was a dangerous play. Melvin played it nicely. It had the reverse spin, and he was able to stay with it. Now, Alex Rodriguez today, a couple of at-bats. He succeeded in the first inning, not in the second.
Yeah, he should have been called out on strikes the first time. They missed a 2-2 pitch, and then he took the 3-2 pitch. You can see the bat head to the ball, both of them. It looks like, almost similar swings. Except a lot of times what you don't read in is that maybe the ball moves, and we've seen Koji Uehara. He struck out Derek Jeter last inning with a great moving fastball inside the strike zone. So similar swings, similar results for Ariel.
High fly ball to center field. First ball swinging. Jones angling towards the ball. Has it for the out. And 2 quick outs in the New York 6th. This copyrighted telecast presented by Authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles.
Well, the one thing that Koji Uehara, other than the obvious, he doesn't walk anybody. But if you're a very disciplined club, and that's what the Yankees are, they're second in home runs, they're 6th in batting average, 3rd in on-base percentage, is some of the legions of Koji fans now. There used to be a few, now they're legions as he continues to pitch. But what the Yankees have found out as they come through the order the 3rd time is you better swing the bat early on, and that's contrary to what they want to do because he's very aggressive. As we said, what did he have 7 walks in his first 6 starts?
That's a real good point because that's the one thing about the Yankees over the years that without a doubt has helped or contributed to their success is the ability to work the count, get into hitter-friendly counts, and then tee off on the opposing team's fastballs.
Yeah, their theory has always been if you don't want to pitch to me, I will go down to first base and let the guy behind me. And, of course, when you have balanced lineups, and the whole American League East has balanced lineups.
Jimmy Walker getting loose just in case. Koji has retired the first 2 here in the 6th inning.
Well, the pitch count at 92, so a chance to get out of this inning. It's not a guaranteed thing because Matsui, a very disciplined hitter. But if you look at the pitch counts, 3rd start 105, 5th start 102, 92 pitches in the last game. And look at that. That's what you want. 64 strikes and only 28 balls.
Off balance, popped it up. Mora coming in near the mound. And on the mound has it for the out, and a very strong 3-up, 3-down inning. First time today, the Yankees have been retired in order.
Washington Nats. Ryan Zimmerman, 27-game hitting streak, extended that with a home run against Arizona yesterday. They'll face the D-backs later on this afternoon. Zach Greinke of the Royals, hottest pitcher in baseball, somewhat cooled off in a 1-0 loss. His first loss of the year moves his ERA to .51 for the year. Hottest team going right now, the Mets, winners of 6 in a row, going for win number 7 over the Pirates right now, as the Pirates have lost 7 straight and 11 of their last 12. Now back up to the booth with Jim and Jim.
All right, Viv, and the Mets and the Pirates at the new Citi Field, and a 4-2 Mets lead in the 7th inning. Happy Mother's Day. Hey, you're supposed to be at college. Hard hit ball towards short. Jeter plays the hop. And he will get Wiggins in for the first out in the 6th inning.
Yeah, Ty, pretty good pitch to hit. Good slider, bad slider. Hit it hard. And again, a lot of times, I think what you have to understand as a young pitcher is that you do have 7 defensive players playing behind you. So even when they hit the ball hard, guys are out there to help you.
You know, that young man, isn't this like the last week of college and finals and all this week? He really should be at school.
Well, let's see, where are we? Yeah, maybe another week. Yeah, I guess it really depends on. Well, if you're going to college and you're smiling, that means you're getting close to the end.
That's exactly right. Taking in a ball game.
But how could you not? I mean, obviously you could be with your mom, but if your mother was inclined to go to a baseball game on a day like today, got a little bit cooler.
Beautiful day today.
As you mentioned, a Chamber of Commerce afternoon for the city of Baltimore. Charm City. A little gusty once you get outside the stadium, but inside the stadium, beautiful.
Couldn't think of a better way to spend a Sunday. 1-1 on Zong. High fastball, ball 2. Zong is hitless today. He has struck out and flied out. Zong told us last night on those extra following the game how he really was happy last night that the lower third of the lineup collectively had a big game and helped the Orioles to a win. Alfredo Aceves.
Yeah, he came in and pitched really well the other night against the Red Sox. A lot of strikeouts. Recently recalled from the minor leagues.
There's a bouncer towards short. Jeter waits on it. And on the flip to get Zong, and 2 men down. Well, enter now at Orioles.com and you can win the Oriole Park Fireworks Night VIP Experience Sweepstakes. One lucky winner will receive 4 VIP seats to the game against the Tigers Friday, May 29th, the first fireworks night of the 2000 season. And then you'll get VIP parking and passes to watch batting practice right from the field. To enter, just go online, Orioles.com. And who knows, the Hall of Famer might walk by you on the field.
Yes, I might. 6th start for Chamberlain if he gets out of this inning, because the pitch count's probably going to get him out of this game. 4 of the 6 games he is going to give up, or 3 of the 6 games are 1 run or less, and he doesn't always win those games. Not a lot of run support. If he ever realizes how good that 2-seam fastball, which he just got Zahn to ground out on and just got strike, you can pitch with that. You can use your other 2 pitches. When they start looking for that, that's when you use the 4-seamer. The light is going to go on for Jabba Chamberlain. I mean, the windup is simple. He can throw strikes. You know, again, just God gave him a gift. Look at that breaking ball. I mean, it doesn't roll up there.
Well, he doesn't have a lot of experience at this level because he raced to the major leagues a couple of years ago. 153 innings coming into this game. That's it. He's now over 100 pitches. Well, there's a liner to center field, and that's going to fall for a base hit. So how about that? PA plays. Montanez has a sore thumb. PA has a 2-hit game.
Seizing the opportunity, and that's what he needs to do.
Well, Robert Andino getting a start at shortstop today. He's played well in the field and a couple of decent at-bats, even though he's 0 for 2.
Well, he did. It's first time. He, again, high fastball, bat head to the ball. He has a nice swing. And then the next time with 2 strikes, just trying to protect runners at 2nd and 3rd, trying to get another run in for the Orioles. Hits it well, but right at the shortstop, Derek Jeter. Now, you would think this could be a running situation. Big lead by Felix PA.
And let's head downstairs and visit with Mark.
Hey, I spoke with Robert Andino prior to the game about making that adjustment now as a big leaguer of not getting regular at-bats and playing time, and he said it really is just a matter of staying physically and mentally prepared. He says he spoke with Wes Helms and Alfredo Meziga when he was with the Marlins about how they made that adjustment, and manager Dave Tremblay says it's about communicating with that player to keep him ready.
And the difference, of course, in the National League is you might get in on a double switch. Here, you have to play when you're asked. Base hit, a man left, will lead to the 7th at a 3-1 game.
Koji Uehara has been terrific. All the hits he has given up today, and you can see 6 of them hadn't walked anybody. Really scattered them. And when he's gotten in trouble, a couple of occasions they've gotten the lead runner off, he's been able to get the next batter out. So he stayed away from the big inning, and he will leave with a lead as Jamie Walker, who came on and pitched 2/3 of an inning. He's been in 13 games. He's pitched well. And if you're Dave Tremblay, you make a decision. Who am I bringing in? How do I want Nick Swisher hitting, lefty or righty? From the right side, he still actually hit a couple of points higher, and he's got 8 home runs all on the road, but 3 from this side. So he's a power guy. Doesn't matter which way he comes up to the plate, right or left.
Walker was getting loose for Matsui if anyone got on in the 6th, but Koji had a 3-up, 3-down inning. So as Jim mentions, he comes into this spot in the lineup. It is 6, 7, and 8. You have switch hitter, left-handed batter, switch hitter, Swisher, Cano, and Cabrera. And then if it gets down to Cervelli, a right-handed batter, and then Jeter, right-handed batter, Walker likely would be gone. So the situation set up perfectly for Dave Tremblay to get Walker in the game. And there's a changeup for a strike, 1-1. Swisher was acquired by the Yankees prior to them signing Mark Teixeira, and it looked like he was going to be their everyday first baseman, and then that all changed. And when Xavier Nady went down with an injury, all of a sudden he was a valuable asset in right field. He could play all 3 outfield positions as well as first base, so a very good versatile player to have on your club.
Yeah, and in limited at bats, well, I mean, to some degree, 96 at bats, only Teixeira with more walks. 403 percentage. You're always up there. But again, if you don't throw in strikes, he'll take the walk.
Well, he learned in that Oakland system, and that's what they preach.
Well, he had 28 home runs his final year at AAA as he came up through Oakland, and struck out. He always strikes out over 100 times, but he also walked over 100 times. Power numbers, they loved him. Can play all kinds of positions. Can play first, can play the outfield.
Well, 2-2 on Nick Swisher. Bounce foul. Jamie's really had a good start to his year. His last year was a real tough season for him, but he's worked really hard on his mechanics.
Well, he did that with Mike Cuellar, who threw out the first pitch. So he's healthy, worked real hard on his conditioning. And again, last year he was around a lot of his pitches. So in other words, not staying on top. They were not breaking well. Maybe the elbow problems had something to do with that.
2-2. And he fouls it off his foot.
And if you've ever played this game at an advanced age, and you have to prove to people that if you have a bad year, it's not because you were old, it was because you just had an off year.
Coke in the bullpen.
Yeah, you look at all the lefties in the lineup, even though it's changed with the Luke Scott shoulder injury, you'd figure he'd be up pitching at some point.
2-2 on Swisher. Fouls off the big curveball. The shot we saw of Coke in the bullpen, the jib camera kind of eavesdropping on the Yankee bullpen there. Look at that. Hey, you.
Now, what camera is that?
That's the jib.
The jib. Oh. I thought you named. I thought you said the jib camera. I thought that you named the camera.
No, I don't have my own camera. That's
not yet.
There it is. See, it's on that long extension used for O's extra and during the game, and we can get right into the bullpen. And low ball 3.
Well, you're down by 2 runs. You want to get on base, and there's nobody better, maybe other than Teixeira in this lineup, to do that. Again, a lot of times the organization, if it's one of their priorities, if you come through the minor leagues, about walking and being disciplined, you're not afraid to hit 3 and 2.
Big pitch for Jamie Walker, and he got him with a changeup. What a pitch! So Swisher down on strikes and 1 away. And on this Mother's Day, Jamie Walker has a personal message.
Happy Mother's Day to my mom back in Tennessee. I love you and miss you. And happy Mother's Day to my wife here. I love you and miss you.
And here's the changeup.
And Nick Swisher's not going to love him after this one. I mean, that Exmo swing tells you what pitching's all about. Bat head well out in the plate. He sold that changeup like you can sell used cars. I can see you doing that.
Used cars?
Yeah. You gift a gab. You know, you walk into the showroom. You have an honest face. Very sincere.
Thank you.
That's how you got to throw a changeup. Pretend it's a fastball. Not that you would not be telling those people the truth when they walked into the showroom.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
They got to sell it. Make people believe in it.
Trying to tell me something?
No.
New occupation?
No. I'm just. I know you're a multitasker, but I envision bigger things.
Maybe in the off season, a little hobby.
Yeah, something close to home. Of course, you get special hours because you're Jim Hunter, so you can work when you want. Go to the gym, do all your. Be with the boss, Bonnie.
All right.
And the kids. Yeah, this is just something to think. You'll probably own the dealership.
That would actually be better. High fly ball to right field. Cano got into one, and that ball is gone onto the flag court, and it's a 1-run game. First home run allowed by Walker on the year, and wouldn't you know it, it's a left-handed batter.
Well, yeah, and he's not getting lefties out that well, but Cano owns him. He's 6 for 18 now with 2 home runs. So the good changeup, the bad slider. I mean, the Masson pitch track, sponsored by Northrop Grumman, it tells you the whole story. Didn't have to reach for it. It pretty much settled in the middle of the plate, and when it settles down, the Orioles lead by 1.
A 3-2 game now. Melky Cabrera takes outside. So for Cano, his 6th home run. He's a tremendous hitter in that number 7 spot for the Yankees. Got under that one, shallow left. PA comes in and has it for the out. 2 men down. That was a real good pitch because he had Melky Cabrera well out in front.
Well, this slider, when I came up, it never threw one until probably my 3rd or 4th year. I watched Tom Phoebus, who hailed from Hamden here in Baltimore. He came up at the end of '66 in my 2nd year, and I think he pitched 3 shutouts in a row. As Dave Tremblay's going to come out, and one of his best pitches, high fastballs and sliders. I said, boy, this is a great pitch. But what I found out was it can be very effective when thrown properly, but you speed up bats if you hang it. And that's what Walker did to Cano. Dave Tremblay said, you know what? Hey, they're 1 run closer, but I'm going to match up. I have a 1-run lead.
Jim Johnson will come on here. 2 outs and none on in the 7th, protecting a 1-run lead. Run in, so it's a 3-2 game. Pair of solo home runs, and Johnson trying to keep it as is, get the Orioles back up, and prevent the top of the lineup coming up with somebody on base.
Yeah, he'd been really, really good, running only 2 of the 13 appearances, 1 in the last 11 innings. So he came in that 11-5 win last night, pitched the 9th inning, got a little tune-up inning. Needs an out here to get the Orioles up.
A little bit low, 1-0. Well, it's Mother's Day, and there is the Bird's mother. How about that? Signing autographs. That's a celebrity mother bird.
And a nice dress on. Hair's looking good.
Of course. Gotta look good for Mother's Day. The sundress. She spent all day yesterday at the beauty parlor.
That's right, and it's a perfect day.
And there's the bird looking for his mom.
Not a bad hair day because there's no humidity hardly at all.
You see, she's got the motherly touch there. Hat to the young girl.
It's like when you go to Disneyland and you see Mickey Mouse. But you see Mickey Mouse all over the park, but there's only one. They're never together. Never together. It's the same way. Only when you have Mother's Day and you have Mother Bird and Daddy Bird.
Slow roller towards second base. Roberts a long way to his left, and safe at first base.
Yeah, see, he took a circuitous route to the ball. The ball hit very slow. It's a very slow infield. And you have, and we mentioned it earlier, you have a catcher that can run. This is routine unless you let the ball play you. So again, scouters supposed to, you got to get a pretty good idea of how a guy runs. And the scouts must not have told him that Cervelli, who makes him, he calls himself safe. Now watch this. Not ordinary speed for a catcher. That is huge right there. Should have been out of the inning.
And he hustled right out of the box, and that made the play. So 2 hits for the number 9 batteries, 2 out of 3, and that gets Jeter up there now as the go-ahead run. Johnson gets it by him on 1.
The only good news I can see about that result is that Jeter won't lead off the next inning in a 1-run ball game. Now, of course, with that said, I'm relying on Jimmy Johnson to do what he does best, which is sink the ball. Down and in is about one of the few pitches that Derek Jeter covers well. And you can see the target from Greg Zahn. That 2-seamer. They are playing to take away the double, so Moore is right on the line at third. Normally he would play well off the line, but you can see right here that foul line and Melvin are 1. It does open up a huge hole in the left field.
A little bit low, he lays off. Jeter always has had a good batting eye.
Well, he can inside the ball, stay inside the ball with the best of it. You mentioned closing in on now, what, 2,600 hits. With 2,570 hits on his career. Right where that target is.
Slow roller, tough play. Here comes Moore, and he won't have a play, and there's an infield hit. So back-to-back hits after 2 men down. Johnson made 2 terrific pitches, and the Yankees have 2 men on.
Well, he did exactly what Dave Tremblay brought him in to do, and that is to throw the ground ball. One should have been played with a little bit better angle, and this is just unlucky. And if you're a Yankee fan, you're saying it's not unlucky at all. It's very fortunate. He just rolls over on it, that sinker down and in, and then Melvin Moore is playing deep to take away the double. Hottest hitter coming to the plate over recent games. And Johnny Damon.
The tying run now in scoring position at second base. The go-ahead run at first with 2 down for Damon, who was 0 for 3.
Well, 12 for his last 24 coming in this game. He's hit home runs in 5 of the last 9 games. I mean, you can just go on and on and on. 13 for 35 with 4 home runs in the month of May. A spray hitter, power hitter, depending on where the pitch is or what the type of pitch is.
Outside, ball 2.
And the only reason you're in this situation is because Jobber Chamberlain, after giving up 3 runs in the first, shut the door. So whether you're a long man or a young starting pitcher, he did his job. He's got a chance to win this ball game if the Yankees can mount a 2-run rally.
Damon has struck out twice, also bounced into a double play. Those at-bats against Uehara. There's a strike, 2-1.
Boy, Jimmy Johnson, incredible singing fastball. Did not give up a home run in the entire 2008 season. If you're an infielder, you have speed at second. Knock the ball down if you can't catch it.
2 on, 2 down, 2-1 on Damon. A little high, I guess. Ball 3.
Yeah, but that ball ran back and caught the inside corner. Tremendous movement. Damon gave up on it, as he should. He's looking outside corner.
Big pitch here. Teixeira's on deck. 3-1 on Damon. And a strike call.
Yeah, if you're not going to call the belt high one, you have to call the one around the knees. Well, there's your sinking fastball, and again, it's borderline.
Runners will be off with the pitch. Cervelli from second, Jeter from first. Full count with 2 men down, and the Orioles protecting a 1-run lead. The runners go. High fly ball to right. Markakis back on it, and that ball is gone. And the Yankees have the lead. A 3-run home run is 9th. And the Yankees have come all the way back and now have the lead. It's a 4-run inning.
I'll take a look at, again, a couple of infield hits. Ball 1, ball 2. There's your good fastball, 2-1. Borderline pitch misses. 3-2, 3-run home run. So back-to-back games. 28th home run in his career against the Orioles. 6 in the last 10 games. And as we told you, usually offense isn't the problem for the Yankees. It's pitching.
And it's a typical Yankee day. All 5 runs driven in on the home run. 2 solo shots. Teixeira, who's at the plate, and Cano earlier this inning. Chris Ray now getting loose, and Johnny Damon with a 3-run home run to give New York the lead. Texas began the day leading the league in home runs with 50. The Yankees now have 48.
Well, it's the hustle of their 9th hitter. Routine ground ball. Brian Roberts took a little bit of a circle route on it. He beat it out. Infield hit, 3-run home run. Doesn't take much when you're playing 1- and 2-run ball games.
So each reliever this inning, Walker allowed 1 run on the Cano home run, and Johnson is now allowed 3. And Teixeira's down on strikes. That ends the inning. But before the damage is done, Damon a 3-run shot, Cano, and it's a 4-run inning. Seventh inning stretch at Oriole Park, and the Yankees now have a 5. The lead, a 4-run seventh inning. Jim Hunter and Jim Palmer. And the one thing about this New York club, and we've been talking about it, when you have that home run ability anywhere in the lineup, you're never out of a game. Chamberlain had a rough start. He settled down, and now the Yankees have a lead.
Yeah, you look at the scoreboard. The Orioles haven't scored since Aubrey Huff's 3-run home run back in the first inning. And again, if you're going to play one-run ball games, that's what it was when Cervelli hit a routine ground ball, slow infield. Brian Roberts playing deep, kind of took a circle route to it. He beat it out. Good pitch to Jeter, 3-run home run. In one-run ball games, all it takes is one play. But the good news for the Orioles, their bullpen not that good. Rivera, last game he pitched in, threw back-to-back home runs. So again, this is anybody's ball game. Orioles with an early lead. Yankees take the lead, but it's not over.
So the Yankees getting 5 runs in this game on 3 swings, 3 home runs. New York now has 48 home runs on the year. Brian Roberts will lead off against Phil Koch, who comes on to begin here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Koch brought on for the top of the lineup with Markakis looming third, the left-hander.
Yeah, the Orioles saw him on opening day. Cesar Izturis hit a home run, but here's a guy, a young pitcher that was a starting pitcher last year. They went to their minor leagues. Who can we get that can get lefties out? Who can throw strikes? Phil Koch's their guy. So again, they have a 2-run lead. But again, their bullpen has really been a struggle getting to their close in Mariano Rivera.
Well, Roberts, there's a borderline strike called against him. Brian leading off here in the bottom of the 7th inning, down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Roberts, Jones, and then Markakis for the Orioles here in the 7th inning. Birds now down by 2. Fouls it off to stay alive. So by the lefty coming in, Brian flips over to the right side. And then Jones, a right-handed batter, and then Markakis and Huff back-to-back lefties. Well, 1 and 2 on Roberts, who is 1 out of 3 on the day. He has singled and struck out twice. And again, he fights off a good pitch. So Chamberlain really did a nice job after a very rocky first inning. The Orioles 3 runs on 5 hits in the first. He faced 7 batters, but did not allow another run. And against the Yankees, one of the keys if you're an opponent is add-on runs, and the Orioles were not able to get any.
They're not going to go away offensively.
Inside 2 and 2.
Koku gave up in extra innings the home run to Carlos Pena when the Rays were in Yankee Stadium, but before that he had been awfully good. 10 consecutive scoreless appearances.
2 and 2 on Brian Roberts. Outside ball 3, so good eye.
And last year, Phil Koch, minor league pitcher of the year, when he pitched down at AAA down in Scranton, 11-6 with a very low earned run average. So a starting pitcher who throws strikes, 137 strikeouts in 135 2/3 innings.
He is the only lefty in the Yankees bullpen. They have the 7-man bullpen, but 6 are right-handers.
Yeah, early on it was Phil Koch and
Damaso
Marte, who's on the disabled list with shoulder problems.
Ryan fouls it off. Count holds 3 and 2. So all the scoring in this game on each side has come in via the home run. A 3-run home run by Huff for the 3 Oriole runs, and the 3 home runs driving in 5 for the Yankees. Short's deep short. Jeter has it. And the long throw is in time to get Roberts. And 1 away in the Orioles' 7th inning. The Junior Orioles Dugout Club, presented by Chick-fil-A, perfect for all fans 14 and under. Kids get tickets to 10 games plus a hat, a membership card, and more. And it all comes inside a collectible lunchbox, and all for just $17. Plus, family and friends can get tickets for just $6 to join. 888-848-BIRD, online Orioles.com, or stop by any area Chick-fil-A location. And members, you can skip the ticket lines by ordering your tickets in advance at Orioles.com and download an order form. Adam Jones with 1 out and none on. Adam has 2 singles today for his 16th multi-hit game, which ties him for the American League lead in the multi-hit efforts. Jones and Markakis now each have 43 hits to tie for the team lead. There's a strike, 2 and 1.
So they have 1 less hit than Evan Longoria has RBIs.
That's right. 44 ribbies.
Longoria will play tonight against the Red Sox. Already 21 RBIs in 9 games against the Red Sox.
Good changeup.
Well, that's what you like. Again, you look at a starting pitcher. Your scouts tell you, your developmental people say, well, can he throw strikes? Is he predictable? In other words, can he throw something, fastball counter, you're going to get a fastball, or can he pull the string? And if you throw at 2-1, you'll throw at any count.
And Jones down on strikes, so a ground out and a strikeout, 2 outs and nobody on.
And the 2-1 changeup sets up the whole of that. Real good hitter, hot hitter at the plate, and you throw him the changeup, and then you come back with a really good curveball. Curveball, you figure, well, it curves. Yes, it does, but it also changed speeds. Bat head out in front of the ball. The Expo shows you that. We talk so much, but the new facet here at Madison, that camera just tells you right there, bat speed out in front of the ball.
Outside the Markakis, 1-0. Koch, 26 years old. He came through the Yankee system. Slowly through the Yankee system. Markakis pops it up. Shallow left. Damon coming in on it. And he has it for the out. And Koch comes on, and that's a very easy 3-up, 3-down inning. We'll head to the 8th and a 5-3 Yankees lead.
I hope to see you soon. Love you.
Happy Mother's Day for all the mother in the world. So this is the more wonderful thing that we have. And happy Mother's Day, Giselle. And thank you for being a mother of my kid and so many kids we have.
Hi, Mom. Love you. Happy Mother's Day.
Yes. Well, Melvin's got a whole gang of them. 6 in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Well, 5-3 game. Jim Johnson stays on. And Chris Ray getting loose behind him. The Yankees sent 7 men to the plate in the 7th inning. And got the 4 runs on the pair of home runs. There's a strike to Alex Rodriguez, who is 1 out of 3 on the day. He singled back in the 1st inning.
Well, it tells you, number one, how difficult it is to pitch in the major leagues, and number two, how well the Yankees can hit. Walker hangs the slider. Cano down 3-1, hits a home run.
Broken bat ball towards the middle. Long way for Andino. Spins. He throws. He got him. What a play by Andino.
That could make you dizzy. Not conventionally played, but again, a jam shot, so it's not traveling very hard, but normally you actually will see catchers, infielders, where they'll go to your left, throw back against your body. But again, about a 180. And then look at the accuracy of this throw. It's the amazing thing about infielders. They make plays. Yes, they practice and whatever, but don't practice that play very often.
Matsui takes a strike. Well, the ball was really slowing up as it got to him, Jim, because it sounded like Rodriguez broke his bat. It bounced past the mound, then rolled on the grass onto the dirt as Andino got to it. Right to first base. Huff gets a big hop. He'll go to the bag unassisted and 2 ground ball outs.
And we saw it in the 7th inning. It being playing and infielders. The Orioles should be used to it now because they play here 1 out of every 2 games over the course of the season, and we're in the month of May. But if you look at visiting clubs coming in, they said it's a difficult infield to play because it is slow. You think the ball, after you play in Boston, Tampa Bay, especially down in Texas, you think the ball is going to get to you quickly. A lot of times you get back on your heel. The ball takes so long to get to you. And that's what really set up the winning rally, not the winning rally, but the go-ahead rally for the Yankees in the 7th inning. Pretty routine ball that Ryan Roberts, a little bit more deliberate. And Cervelli, to his credit, routine ball. He ran hard, set up the whole inning.
And instead of the 3rd out, it got Jeter up there. Then Johnson made a good pitch to Jeter, and he had a swinging bunt, if you will, a slow roller that only made it halfway to 3rd. And that set it up for Damon, who had a very good at-bat. On Mother's Day, my daughter brought me to Oriole Park to see the Orioles beat the Yankees.
Well, Orioles behind.
Still have a chance.
It's not over.
I like the way they're thinking.
Of course, one of the great Yankees of all time, Yogi Berra. Never over till it's over.
Yep. Too tight. Somehow he got out of the way.
Up and in. Nick's trying to cover the outside corner with 2 strikes, and just in case. Got the protection on that right arm. Still don't want to get hit.
Not at 96.
No.
A ball and 2 strikes on Swisher. And then he comes in with a off-speed pitch, and Swisher able to foul it off to stay alive.
Well, you go back to that 7th inning. I mean, Jim Johnson's a ground ball pitcher. He got that. I mean, he comes in, and Cervelli gets the ground ball, but beats it out. Then the ground ball from Jeter, and then I don't know if I'd call it a mistake. I just think Johnny Damon with 6 home runs in his last 10 games is, and we've talked about it the whole series, is the hottest Yankee hitter.
Well, Swisher down on strikes, and Jim Johnson has a strong 3 up, 3 down 8th inning. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Huffmore and Wigginton with the Birds down by 2. Here of the game, and here are your choices. Aubrey Huff, 3-run home run in the first. Koji Uehara, no decision, but 6 strong innings. Or Johnny Damon, whose 3-run home run has put the Yankees on top. Text in your vote now. Have your voice heard, A, B, or C, to 51862. And here is Aubrey leading off against Phil Koch, who stays on in the 8th inning. Mora and Wigginton will follow. That's high 1-0.
Well, one of our PNC scouting reports on Koji was get lucky. And I'm sure when Aubrey hit that 3-run home run off the job of Chamberlain, he thought that. Because he did his job. And that was the last runs the Orioles have scored.
For Aubrey, it was his 6th home run. He now has 31 RBIs on the year. There's a strike, 2-1.
Well, the interesting thing about the Orioles is that last year they were 17-14 after 31 games, and they were averaging 4.1 run a game. And this year they come into this game 13-18, averaging a run more. So again, it's very much like the Yankees. It comes down to pitching. Yankees are up over 1.3 runs a game. They're under 500 as they were last year, but their pitching not where it wants to be.
Inside ball 3. Aubrey Huff, by the way, now has the team lead in RBIs. He moves 1 ahead of Nick Markakis. And that fastball a little tight.
Orioles looking for base runners, and right here it just buzzes them up and in, and trying to elevate the high fastball.
Fisted towards left. Damon is there. 1 down in the Oriole 8th. So Koch has retired 4 straight batters since coming on. And with the tying run still on deck, it looks like he'll stay on. As you look in from center field, from the bullpen picnic area.
Well, they have a couple of options. Jose Veras also pitching well, right-hander, big, tall right-hander. Melvin's number against the Yankees, 2 for 12, still trying to get on track.
Off-speed pitch for a strike. George Sherrill is getting loose in the Oriole bullpen.
Koch really doing a number on lefties. They only came in hitting 158.
There's a base hit from Melvin Moore. That'll get the tying run to the plate.
But the righties hitting at 261. So Melvin make it 3 for 13 in this series. A-Rod off the base because he bunted early. What happens if you lay a bunt down? The infield plays in. If he's playing back, this is an out. But because he's in, because he respects the bunt.
Certainly is a weapon if you utilize it. Here is Ty Wigginton, who came out for Luke Scott, who had 1 at-bat and then left with an apparent shoulder injury. Ground ball towards short. There's a double play ball. Jeter to second. Cano bobbles back to first, and he still got it.
Yeah, Jeter had trouble getting it out of his glove. Cano had trouble getting it out of his glove, and they still turn 2. But this ball just comes up a little bit, and you can see right there in the heel of the glove, little delay, double play.
No hidden fees.
5-3, George Sherrill in out of the bullpen to finish this one off for the O's. It was 1 week ago today in Toronto. Sherrill had a meeting with manager Dave Tremblay about his role as a closer, and Tremblay saying he was going to go with more matchups at the end of games. Sherrill says it's his mentality to fight to keep the closer's job. Told me he's motivated by any thoughts that someone would take that job away from him. Did have a save earlier this week and said he worked with pitching coach Rick Kranitz on the return home and ended up getting that save against the Twins. Fighting to keep his job. He'll get another opportunity to show his stuff here in the 9th inning against the Yankees. To the booth now, Jim and Jim.
All right, Viv. So Sherrill, his job is to keep this as is. The Yankees have a 2-run lead. Orioles have one more at bat. And he will face the lower third of the Yankees lineup, which got the rally going in the 7th.
And we found out that it doesn't matter if you're right-handed or left-handed. Robinson Cano can hit some home runs. Hit one off Jamie Walker, second home run against Walker, now 6 for 18. But the change that George Sherrill made was he always has a closed stance. In other words, that front foot will be a little bit, but he's a little bit squarer now. And he was swinging his leg. Now he's trying to pick the leg up. Velocity was better. Curveball was better. He's not your prototypical left-hander. He doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't throw a two-seam fastball. Doesn't have a changeup. So again, location and the way the ball comes out of your hand so important. League hitting well over 300 at what 302 against him, not well over 300, and that's a number that you don't like. He's been good against left-handers. They're only 2 for 16, but righties have been wearing them out. 14 for 37.
Hard hit ball to Melvin Moore, plays it nicely to his left. One down. Not only was that hit hard, it took a hop at the last second.
Looked like a bullfighter trying to get out of the way of the bull. Hit hard, short hop. There you go. Made it look pretty routine.
You know, it's kind of amazing the way you watch him play third base. You really can see all that training he had as a teenager as a goalie in soccer. The way he reacts there.
Well, fast feet. You know, I was talking to Bobby Abreu when the Angels were in town, and Bobby and Melvin, I think Bobby 2 years younger than Melvin, said, oh yeah, we played soccer together. Melvin was good. Played, I think, what, early on, professional soccer down in Venezuela.
And then he signed with the Astros when he was 16, but he was a goalie. You could see it in his defensive play. Tremendous quickness, instincts.
16. It's 21 years ago.
Long time. Melvin tells a story. The hardest thing about turning pro was coming to the United States to play in the Astros minor league system and not knowing the language. Foul back, and he said the first time that he had to go out and buy groceries, he went into the supermarket, went in the aisle, and started to cry because he couldn't read any of the labels. And then he realized, you know what, if I'm going to make it to the big leagues eventually, I need to learn the language, and he did. He was an all-around good athlete. That's got to be pretty tough if you think about it. You're 16 years old. I mean, what would that be in the States? A sophomore in high school, maybe?
Yeah, maybe a junior, yeah.
You don't know the language? 2-2 on Melky Cabrera. Fouls off the breaking ball. Melvin probably is very good at basketball, too, because of the quickness. Maybe one of those point guards that if you lay off him, he can hit the three.
Yeah, strong legs. I don't know if he could dunk.
Maybe.
Maybe not now.
Yeah, maybe back in the day. Breaking ball hit to center field. Jones back on it. That ball carries way out there, reaches up, and it bounces over the fence. And there's a ground rule double.
Yeah, got fooled a little bit by the wind because he doesn't immediately go back. If you don't get a good read and you play shallow like Adam, I mean, we're seeing the back end of this play. Well, he's blowing the bubbles and the wind's taking the ball, and number 6 for the Orioles, Paul Blair, boy, he would have come under this because nobody ever went back better than him that I ever saw. But again, you're going to play shallow if you don't get a good jump, and he usually does. But if you don't read the ball off the bat, and it's a bright, blustery day here, wind blowing, I guess, gusts 17 to 24 miles per hour.
Here's Cervelli. It was his infield hit. They got the big rally going in the 7th. And that run out there at second base is huge. You don't want to have to come up down by 3 in your last at bat.
Well, Francisco, 73 bats at Double-A last year. That's the highest he played. Coming up through the minor leagues. Started out at Double-A Trenton, hitting 190. Posada goes down with a hamstring. Quadricep pull for Jose Molina of the Molina brothers.
Slowly at the third. Moore gets another in-between hop. Gets Cervelli 2 men down. And Melky Cabrera holds at second base. Let's get an update on the voting for the AT&T Player of the Game. And Johnny Damon, 53% leading the vote. You still have time. Text in your vote and have your voice heard. A, B, or C to 51862. And Tom and Rick will have the results coming up on O's Extra Post Game.
Boy, tough decision right here as we look at Damon on deck with Jeter coming to the plate. Do you pitch around Jeter? The numbers don't lie. He hits lefties well, and Damon just the same. Damon's hitting as good against lefties this year, or as well as against lefties, and they're going to walk him. So you match up and you look more at your guy because, as we mentioned, lefties came in against George Sherrill's at 2 for 16. Cano made it out, so they're 2 for 17. So this is just about matching up, but it's not a guaranteed as hot as Damon is.
You know, the right-handers 15 for 39.
Oh yeah, well there's no way when you look at your pitch up. But again, just because you do this, it's not about, well, this hitter hits lefties and the other one doesn't. This is about your guy getting lefties out and not getting right-handers out, which is very difficult. And that goes back to what Mark Viviano was talking about, is that if your closer is struggling a little bit and you think you have an alternative, you're going to match up. If you have 3 right-handers coming up, maybe you will, go with Jimmy Johnson or Chris Ray. And if you have a couple of left-handers where you know where they won't pinch hit, George Sherrill's your guy. But it's not automatic anymore.
2 on, 2 down. Ball 1 to Johnny Damon. Damon was held in check by Koji Uehara, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a double play ground out, but then he got the 3-run home run off Jim Johnson that gave the Yankees the lead. Perfect location there in that fastball.
Well, again, trying to hide the ball, not swinging the leg, picking the leg up. And George was also said when he does that, he gets a better angle, so the ball has late life. There's another one. Because if the ball flattens out, if the shoulder, that front shoulder rotates, you see the ball, it doesn't have that carry as it gets into the hitter zone, a little extra. Mariano Rivera getting loose for the Yankees, save situation, at least at this point.
Damon looks it over, ball 2.
But once again, you can see that closed front shoulder. And then over that front side, stayed closed very nicely there.
Damon fouls it off.
Johnny Damon, you think leadoff hitter all these years, is not a big guy, but when you stand next to him, and we saw it on the home run, he pretty much hit it with his front side. And he's got the bat head short to the ball. .284 lifetime hitter against left-handed pitching.
And he got it. Good looking curveball that Damon swings through and the inning ends. So Sherrill gets out of it. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Zon, PA, and Andino do. Birds down by 2.
run shot, but Johnny Damon coming back with a 3-run shot to put the Yankees on top. Now, Rick, it's been interesting.
Koji Uehara pitches another very strong 6 innings, only gives up 6 hits and 1 earned run, but the Orioles are down 2 going into the 9th.
So it should be an interesting bottom half of the 9th inning. The Orioles trying to take 2 out of 3, and we'll return you now back to the booth with more from Jim Hunter and Jim Palmer.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. So here come the Orioles down by 2, 5-3, and a couple of changes defensively. Brett Gardner comes off the bench, and he will take over in center field, and that pushes Melky Cabrera from center to right. So Nick Swisher is no longer in the game, and here is Mariano Rivera trying to earn the save, and he has a 2-run lead to protect in the 9th inning.
Well, there are your numbers right there. 864 appearances, second most saves in the history of Major League Baseball. Only Trevor Hoffman, who is now with Milwaukee Brewers. So last appearance, back-to-back home runs against Tampa Bay. Came in a 6-6 ball game. Longoria and Crawford hit home runs down the right field line. And only for the 4th time did he ever throw 2 home runs in appearance, but never back-to-backers. Shoulder surgery. You know, a lot of people saying, well, because, again, this is a team that came in at 14-16, not a lot of appearances. 4 out of 5 in the save department, so not a chance to really build up his arm strength. See if the Orioles can take advantage of that.
Orioles need to get a man on and get that tying run to the plate. Here's Zahn, who has been hot but hitless today, and he fouls it off. 3 out of 7 in the series, looking to extend the hitting streak to 3 straight and continue his hot month of May.
Well, need a base runner.
Too tight.
Will turn 40 in the offseason. Well, Mariano Rivera started with the Yankees as a setup man for John Wetland in their World Series year of 1996. Joe Torre's first year, Derek Jeter's first year. All these years, pretty much one pitch, the fastball. He cuts it, and the last couple of years he'll turn it over on occasion.
Zahn fouls it back this way.
He can make the ball move like we used to do in wiffle ball in the backyard.
He is the last player active wearing that number, 42. 2-2 on Zahn. Popped it up to Scherer and foul ground, shading his eyes from the sun. Has it for the out and 1 down. Here are the active leaders in saves. Jim was referring to Trevor Hoffman, now of Milwaukee, but the majority of those saves with San Diego.
Yeah, Billy Wagner down the list. The Orioles will play the Mets. As you mentioned, the Mets have won 6 in a row. Wagner with Tommy John surgery, but there's some talk that he may come back towards the latter part of this year. What a bullpen they'll have. Troy Percival, Tampa Bay, coming in town. He's 4th on the list. There's another cutter. In cut fastball. Just kind of moves into the lefties away from the right-handers. You think you have the bat head on it, and just late movement at about 93 to 95 miles per hour. There's another one. And the amazing thing about Mariano is the ability to throw strikes. Very quiet motion. Classic, head still.
Now, if you're PA, you got to take 2 strikes here.
Well,
it's 3-0.
And you look down, and you know you're taking 3-0, and you'll be looking down at Juan Samuel again, 3-1. You're only the 4th run. They need a base runner.
Borderline pitch.
Or it was borderline enough to get the call. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, it wasn't up out of the strike zone. It's just off the corner.
I wasn't suggesting you got a gift.
Well, no, I mean, that's part of the process of getting an umpire to call the strike.
And he was swinging on 3-1, and he fouls it off.
6 walks last year in 70 2/3 innings. Why he was swinging, I have no idea. 12 in 71 innings, 11 in 71. So he usually doesn't walk you, but you still want to make him throw a strike.
high ball four. So PA does work the walk, and that gets the tying run to the plate.
Boy, and they're getting nervous up in New York right here. So again, same windup. And you can just see him pulling down, and that's how you throw the cutter. A little more pressure in that middle, and he just drops his arm just a little bit. Again, the shoulder surgery, maybe arm slot harder to find, and drops under it, and the ball sails high.
That'll bring up Andino with PA at first and one down. Time run at the plate, winning run on deck if the Orioles can get Roberts up there. Ball one.
And you would imagine that you would have seen Lou Munoz if he was healthy. You got Historis to come back and play shortstop, but he's available, at least as far as we know.
1-0 on Andino. Takes a strike. Andino does not have a home run on the year. He has 6 base hits in his limited time. All 6 of those hits singles. Outside.
And you know, it's kind of interesting the way they play their defense. They don't take the double away. Most managers will play the line. In other words, Alex Rodriguez would be over here covering the line, but Joe Girardi said, you know what, we don't think he's going to hit it there. It doesn't matter where we only have a 2-run lead. And to me, that's pretty smart managing.
2-2 as he swings through it.
Once again, late movement. You think you have it zeroed in, ball's going to stay somewhere in the middle of the plate, and it just slides away from you. And you don't really see the spin. That's why the cutter is such an effective pitch.
2-2. Andino in his career has 2 home runs, hit last year with the Marlins. Orioles would settle for a single here to get on base and turn the lineup over with Roberts on deck.
Yeah, the Yankees are looking for a double play ball to get not only out of the inning but win the game. And they're deep in the outfield, at least pretty deep. Pretty good swing there. Well, just imagine to yourself if you're Robert Andino, you played in the other league, playing for the Marlins, and you've seen Mariano Rivera. How can you not? And now you get to face him.
Two and two the count on Andino with PA at first. Strike 3 called, and you saw the movement on that pitch. Andino thought it was going to stay inside, and instead it got a lot of the plate for a called strike 3 and 2 men down.
I'll take another look at our massive pitch track. There's your cutter, and I bet that ball out. The track's got it catching the inside corner. But again, he thinks it's coming in because most fastballs from a right-hander tail towards you if you're right-handed. Hey, Rod. Alex very happy about that. Because at the end of the day, he's back, coming off the hip surgery, but the Yankees aren't going to win if they don't get into the late innings and hand the ball to Mariano, and then he gets the job done.
Strike 1 to Brian Roberts. That almost looks like a slider. It moves so much.
Well, it does, except again, slider usually pick up his spin. A guy throws a slider like Jabba Chamberlain, you don't pick it up as often, but the cutter just keeps going. I mean, and it seems like that righties have better luck than lefties. And the reason is that for Mariano, and of course the last game he did throw the back-to-back home runs, they're usually able to get it out of the middle of the plate. Right there, it starts in the middle and just keeps on coming.
Jeff Nelson said he checked, so they count to 2-1.
And then for a guy that throws one pitch, he doesn't give in to hit it.
PA at first, 2 down. Now back the other way, 2-2.
So the ability to throw strikes, I mean, maybe the velocity down 2 to 3 miles per hour is what we're used to seeing. But it's not about velocity when you can get the ball to move.
Roberts trying to keep this inning going. And a tapper right back to the mound. Rivera has it, and he gets it to first, and the Yankees have won it. So the Yankees come back